रिकॉर्डिंग शुरू कर दे.
Yes, I started recording on my side.
या मेरे साइड से भी चालू है.
Hmm.
Okay, so goat, a very unexpected. Like what do I say? You expected something else. You went to watch that movie, and it turned out to be something else. So I'm actually curious because, like, what made you think that this was a sci-fi movie? Because uh, in no marketing material it was hinted that this was going to be a sci-fi film. So like what? Because I remember I saw the trailer and it was a very standard kind of a film. And yes, there were a little bit of rumors going on that this is kind of a remake of Gemini Man. People were
Hmm.
saying that this could be a remake of a Gemini Man. But what I'm
It was
curious, like
not.
what it was not, I know, but
Yeah.
what made you like where did you get this idea that this was going to be a sci-fi thriller?
Okay, so as I usually avoid watching trailers. Like बहुत कम instances पे I watch a trailer. It's like because, and this is going to be a rant, a small one. Uh,
Yeah.
please, anyone watching, do not ever watch trailers if you already know that you're going to watch the movie. The
Yeah.
sole purpose of a trailer is for you to make up your mind कि मुझे देखनी है movie या नहीं. Well, if you already know कि I like this particular director or writer or actor, तो ये movie मुझे देखनी ही है, the hype is not going to do anything for you. It's actually going to lower your enjoyment because you
Hmm.
already know that this person in this is in this movie, this person is in this movie. Like for example, with Goat, I had no idea Prabhu Deva was in the movie. Okay, with
Okay.
Prabhu Deva is the only face I recognize apart from Vijay Talapathy. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, so watching Prabhu Deva, that gave me some level of joy, and watching the stunts that I had not seen in the trailer, right, that gave me some joy. Watching young young Vijay Talapathy, I had no idea that was going to happen, right, that gave me joy. Like all of which would have been ruined if I seen the trailer, right? So please, if you have
Okay.
already made up, yeah,
No, no, I'll tell you something.
I
See, the
yeah,
thing is, yeah, I understand. I understand what you are trying to say because there are a lot of movies that kind of get ruined by trailers. One of the biggest examples is Batman versus Superman. That movie got even though that movie is not a good movie, but the trailers kind of ruin the entire experience. Like they reveal Doomsday as well. So you don't have anything to look forward to when you are watching that movie. So that was one of the worst experiences of mine of a movie watcher for me. Okay, let's come back to Goat, and I agree with what you are trying to say. And I also it's very interesting for me because for me you're giving a different kind of perspective because you are not a conventional Tamil cinema watcher, and I don't think you actively are aware of. For you, it's like if it's a movie which is good, then you'll watch that movie. Otherwise, you're not
yeah,
an ardent movie goer of the Tamil cinema. And for us, it made me realize that the marketing for this is kind of redundant, as you said, because like we Tamil cinema watchers, we have Venkat Prabhu is an old name. He's been an
yes,
active director for a long time,
hmm.
and Prabhu Deva is again an old name. He's been active since the 90s. Talapathy Vijay, he's again one of the biggest stars from South India. And then yes, there are a few more actors as well. And okay, so now I'll actually give you a certain little bit of context before we go ahead and get into this discussion. Firstly, the since I am a South Indian, and it is, I don't know how this framing came to be. It is actually Talapati Vijay, not Vijay Talapati.
Okay,
So Talapati is a title, and that title means
oh,
commander. Talapati is called commander. So when you talk about uh, kings and dynasties and all, so if you think about, like, if you have an emperor and who's the commander in chief, so that title is called Talapati.
so who is the emperor here?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Rajinikanth is did a movie in the 90s with Mani Ratnam. That movie's name is called Talapati.
Okay.
So Rajinikanth did the movie called Talapati. This I think this released in 1991. I don't know the exact year, but yeah, this was actually Mani Ratnam's movie, and you can watch that movie. That's a different whole altogether movie. It's actually a fascinating movie because it's a modern retelling of Mahabharat where Rajinikanth's character is based on Karna. So you can watch that movie. It's one of Rajinikanth's best performances, and so Karn's best friend Duryodhan, that character is played by Mammootty. So
Okay.
if you yeah, so if you watch that movie, you'll
Yeah.
know. So it's a modern retelling of Mahabharat, and it is actually it's a good movie. It's an enjoyable watch. So Talapati, that movie Talapati. So Rajinikanth did that movie, and in that movie, he was basically the commander. So that is why that title Talapati was given to Rajinikanth, and Vijay is actually one of he basically is a long time fan of Rajnikant. So since his earlier days, and his father, Vijay's father, has made movie. I think he made one movie with Rajnikant. That was I think remade in Hindi as well. Andha Kanun. I
Hmm.
don't. Yeah, I think that movie. Yeah, that movie was remade. So that was actually a movie which Vijay's father. So Vijay is also kind of a nepotism in cinema. So his dad is a big director. He used to be a very big director, and then he entered cinema. Like Vijay entered cinema when he was 18 years old, and when he entered cinema, so he was not appreciated at all. I mean, he was actually trolled. Imagine Harman Baweja. So
Hmm.
Vijay was trolled like that during his initial days. But then gradually, because he was actually talented and he had some level of talent in him, which people were able to extract out, he managed to build an audience base, gradually grow to a certain level, and then establish himself. And now he attained the top position. So the name Talapati, how it came associated with Vijay is his father basically when he started giving a little bit of hits during I think late stages of 1990s or so. So he started getting a lot of fan mail. Vijay started getting a lot of fan mail, and the people they gave him that title Ilaya Talapati. So Ilaya Talapati means young commander.
Oh. Okay.
So that is why when you see in this movie Goat, in the
Yeah, yeah,
interval,
yeah.
it is called
Yes.
Talapati versus Ilaya Talapati. Because
Ilya Talapati.
as I think from 1996 or so, every time Vijay came on screen, he used to be introduced as Ilaya Talapati, and this tagline transitioned to Talapati in 2017. So
Hmm.
till 2017, he was actually called Ilaya Talapati. So that is his, affectionately they call him, because in Tamil cinema what happens is a lot of the actors have a prefix attached to them. Like Rajnikant has superstar, and Kamal Hassan has Ulaganayagan. Ulaganayagan means universal actor. That translates to universal actor. So you have
Fitting.
these, and
Fitting.
yeah, so and there is, so that's how like that's how all these actors, they have this kind of tagline behind them. So it's a culture, it's become a cultural thing when it comes to Tamil cinema. You don't have that in Hindi cinema. So this is the context which I'm trying to give, because this movie, it is actually kind of it has a lot of contextual references which can be missed by someone like you, because you are not an ardent follower, and it can be actually a fascinating experience for you as well. You'll realize that, okay, like these are the references which are being made. Oh, this is why this scene was portrayed like this scene was portrayed like this, then a lot of things will make sense narratively. That is actually one of the main problems of this movie, which we'll talk to you about. So this, like, I
Yeah,
wanted to talk, I wanted to give just kind of, help you understand that it is not Vijay Talapathy. I don't know why they say that. It is every time I hear that, that's like, that's so stupid. I mean, it's like you have a moniker, it is attached as a prefix, and then imagine if someone, people say Alexander the Great. I mean, if you say the Great Alexander, that also makes sense,
yeah,
but
yeah.
Alexander the Great, and that is, it's something
I
like that. It's a,
understand. I understand. Yeah,
yeah. So that is one thing. So but I think the reason people don't correct that, because it kind of stuck so everyone addresses him as Vijay Talapati in the north. So that's something I've seen that in everywhere. So that is one of the things. So okay, yeah, so there are a few more contexts as well. So let's pause on that aspect when I told you that
yeah,
Ilayya Talapati, he was called as Ilayya Talapati, and then I have something else which I'll come back to, which will be connected to this movie as well. So you continue now.
yeah. Um, so I revisited the film and I sort of had a discussion with myself about the film that sort of helps me clear a lot of the thoughts I have. So overall thoughts about Goat, I think it's like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It's it is pure entertainment from uh, beginning to end. Apart from that one post-credit scene, but we'll
we'll not.
discuss that.
We
We'll
will
discuss that
discuss
out.
that. That's one
Yeah,
of the dumbest thing ever.
yeah. Um, but the problems I have about this movie, they are going to be very and because like the problems that I actually have about the movie are all just writing based. Okay,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
there is a lot of weak writing where they have missed great opportunities, and I am starting to feel a little. It's starting to feel a little dragged out the way a lot of these films are structured. Okay, a lot of these films are structured in a very similar way. You can extract good scenes out of the same structure,
yeah,
but um, it's a little stale now. Like I know exactly what is going to come next. See, I'm fine with predicting what the movie is going to do uh, in the next scene, but I don't want to be able to guess where the movie is taking me structure wise. Okay, I
yeah,
can understand what the decisions are being made by the characters. That I understand. Okay, वो तो predictable होगी ही movie उस point पे, right? It's always going to be that because this is not one of those films. But then again, on a predictability scale also, it keeps you guessing, right? It
yeah,
surprises you once or twice. It surprised me once or twice, uh,
yeah,
and I in good ways. Like the scenes where I was surprised, I actually liked those scenes and how they were written. So
mm,
that is a good thing. We'll discuss that during the structure.
yeah,
But but I have the same problems with this movie that I have had with a lot of films from the same genre that this movie belongs to.
mm.
So it's going to be very generic, but I think from all the reviews that I have seen of the film, nobody has touched upon these particular issues. And
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. I
and
mean, so actually, I'll tell you the problems which you were talking about when it comes to structure. That is something which I have also been hearing about, and a lot of people have been complaining about the same as well. That on its own merit, if you take out the references and all of the things which I'll delve deeper into, because you are in a position to be kind of objective, because you don't
yeah,
have that connect with all the actors or the characters or the cultural references or the cinematic contextual references which the movie is making. So that puts you in a very objective way to judge this movie, and you have actually judged this movie correctly, because yes, it is a good movie, it is not a bad movie, and it is, when you think about it, it is average when it comes to it's predictable. Of course, they are not doing anything new, but you can't call it completely stale as well, because there are some potential good ideas which they could have expanded a little better way and
Hmm.
could have elevated it from what it is to a better stature. This could have turned out to be one of one of the most bold films taken by a big star, because a
Hmm.
big star portrayed in such a negative way, because that character, that antagonist character, is kind of irredeemable. How the kind of decisions which he's also taking in this movie,
Yeah.
it very irredeemable, and you don't expect a big star like him to do these kinds of things, because usually big stars in that kind of position take very safe roles, and they take care of their image, that oh
Hmm.
nee, you can't have that image, your image will get damaged, kids are watching my movie, they'll start emulating this and all. And and I like the fact that Vijay was game. He was like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
let's. So
It's
that,
it's one of my it's one of the problems I have with the film on a very moral context, but when we'll get to that.
yeah, on a moral context, of course, it's very problematic. But at the same time, I'm actually with the story, and I understand that this guy is irredeemable. Yes, I understand that, and he's too far gone. But I also understand the reason why he became that way, because that scene, the reason which they gave with that child, that was very impactful. And it actually, like, it creates a very effective moment for the main antagonist, who is the father, like the rival character, the Menon, the
Sorry,
scientist.
sorry to interrupt, but what a
Yeah.
brilliant child actor! What a brilliant child actor!
Oh yeah, man. I mean,
Such a great role.
I was
Yeah.
actually traumatized. I was traumatized,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I could, like, I that moment actually stayed with me for a couple of days, and that those scenes, I could not rewatch those scenes. I
And this
could
is
not.
this is all Venkat Prabhu. Okay,
Yes, I
because
know. I know.
to make a child act properly, you have to give all the credit to the director, because
Yeah.
explaining to a child what trauma is, a child would not understand that, right?
And
But he got the expressions correct.
he got the expressions correct, and he was able to evoke that sense
Yes.
of that fear, because seeing that kind of situation where a child go, and that is something which happens, that happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and it actually, I did not expect the movie to go there. This movie, I
Hmm.
did not expect to go there. It was like, you don't expect that, to see such kinds of brutality and see such kind of violence. And it is, if I say, it is arguably a very necessary lesson as well. Through this movie, a lot of people, because Vijay as a star has a lot of fan following and has a lot of eyeballs directed towards his movies. This is, I feel, this will kind of, this sends the right kind of message to parents out there, to make sure not to be careless and not to be too trusting. So I appreciate that as a movie, it sends the right message. But if you watch that scene, it disturbs you a lot. It definitely,
Yeah.
that whole, that and even though it only, like, they only show for a few minutes, they don't even show it for a long time. I think it hardly stays for a minute or a two minute. It's just a 2 minute sequence where you see the progressive torture happening and the psychological breakdown of the child. But it is so effective when you see that happening, and you completely understand why this child turns, and why this
Yeah.
child is prepared to go against his biological father, because he saw the kind of torment which, of course, he's going to be brainwashed against his father. So I
Yeah.
completely understand the motivation. And that is why the actions which the villain, or the main antagonist, Vijay, the young Vijay, commits, it makes sense
Jeevan.
that, okay, he's going to be brainwashed, and he's completely programmed. And that is actually one of the, if you think about it, that is a war tactic. That is a war tactic which a lot of, lot of kingdoms also
It's
practiced.
just forget kingdoms. This is a very basic tactic for terrorists.
Yeah, this is actually how terrorists also operate. So that was
Yeah.
that was a very effective thing. That also, effectively portrays the villain side of the scientist, the Menon character. It elevates his presence, because as a physical threat, he's nothing. He's, you could easily damage that character, and he's not a threat. He's not he does not have a menacing presence, the villain. You don't expect him to be a challenge. But what he does, and how he programs this particular, he's so, for me, that motivation kind of worked, that he's so
Hmm.
hell-bent
Yeah.
on taking revenge from this particular guy. He will go to such an extent that he will torment a child and completely ruin that child's life to have his revenge. That was absolutely, that motivation in terms of writing worked for me, completely worked for me. And
Hmm.
it made, and it is actually one of the strong points of the movie for me, to how to write a villain. So that is actually, even though what happened to him, is arguably one of, you don't see what happens to him. That is a very, I'll tell what happens, like I'll give you a better context of what that whole scene meant at the end, where he's being, do you understand what happened in the end, like with that Menon character in the stadium?
Uh, so I think he was held by some guy. So there
Yeah,
was a
some
release.
guy.
I don't know who he was.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I know the
that is
context is going to come
see,
later.
that is the main problem with this movie. You are saying some guy. I'll tell you who that guy is. I'll tell you exactly who that guy is, and I'll
Yeah.
give you the context of that scene, which is completely disconnected from the movie. It is like it has no business being in that movie, and it is a blatant meta reference, which is meant to evoke a certain kind of emotion within the Tamil cinema circuit. You are, but in terms of the movie, that is, that is the most dumbest scene ever. That is one of the most dumbest scene ever, that this guy, this Menon character, you are just trusting this. I mean, dude, don't you know what this guy is capable of? He literally faked your child's death. He raised your child against you. He completely turned your child against you, and you are leaving it with that guy. What that how stupid are you? So that is one of the biggest problems I have with the Gandhi's, the characterization of Gandhi. I'll go over that
Hmm.
in detail, and I'll tell you exactly what the problem with that character is. But yeah, so yeah, as I said, that the motivation of the villain, I completely understand. And yes, as I said, that this is one of the villain portrayal, the antagonist portrayal of Vijay, that was very bold of him. So coming back to the structure, that how they kind of they kind of played around with a conventional structure, and like, they tried to do something different, and they kind of hid the villain aspect of Vijay, the young
Yes.
character, from the marketing material. Like in the marketing material, you don't see any of this aspect, and in the marketing material, it is actually shown as though both the father and son are facing off against this guy,
Menon.
this Menon character. So the marketing made it seem as though this is going to be a very standard thriller, very safe, and it is only going to appease the hardcore fan base of Vijay. But when you watch the movie, it turned out to be a little surprising. So that is something which I appreciate, and that is something which I actually give credit to the makers for not revealing in the marketing material and not revealing in the trailer. If you watch the trailer, you'll understand, okay, they
I have seen
cleverly,
the trailer. I have seen.
yeah, so
I
they
saw it.
cleverly,
I saw it afterwards.
that is actually good that you saw the trailer, and they withheld the fact that this guy is going to turn out against him. So that is actually one of, I would say, this is some whoever made the trailer was given the right amount of brief, and it is actually one of the this is one of good way to cut a trailer, by
Hmm.
showing material without spoiling any of your experiences. That is, I feel that this is that kind of contradicts a little bit to what you were saying. But what I say is, even if you had watched this trailer, it would not have spoiled your experience, I would say.
Yeah.
So this is one of the way to This is I feel that this can be a good lesson for whoever's watching, that this is actually how you market a film. But I also heard that Venkat Prabhu gave a lot of interviews and kind of overhyped uh, this movie to such an extent that when people watched the movie they were kind of underwhelmed. So I don't know, because I don't watch interviews, because at most I watch a trailer if I want to. And if I have already made up my mind that I'm going to watch this movie, I don't watch trailers. But if I'm watching the trailer, I'll know that okay, even if I'm able to, I never watch interviews, because for me interviews are just a waste of time. And it is like, yes, I understand why they exist, for those people who are not convinced and who don't understand, just who are not able to make up their mind solely by watching the trailer. They need these kinds of extra incentives. So maybe, or maybe who are too, the people who are actually, the hardcore fan base, who are too excited for this actor's movie and they want to gather as much information as possible, so that is why they are also watching and consuming these interviews. So I
The
feel,
issue with interviews is more that today people really want to know what is going on in that actor's life, and
yeah,
bullshit opinions from that actor about general things in life. Okay,
I mean,
all the podcasts, I'm not going to name any, but they'll invite an actor, and then they'll spend very short amount of time covering his craft, something that he actually knows about. Okay,
yeah,
and then he or she will delve into, oh, what do you think about this, what do you think about death, what do you think about something, what
no,
do you think
that
about this.
is
I don't.
okay. I understand who you are referencing, but I'm like, that is something else. But what I'm talking about is Venkat Prabhu gave an interview. No, he did not give an interview with these kind of podcasters also. He gave an interview with conventional, the normal media circuit. So like he was giving an interview with a channel who covers these kinds of media and trailers and all of that.
Media circuit is worse
Media
in
circuit is
terms
worse,
of
I
asking
understand,
questions.
but he was actually sitting with an interviewer who doesn't he who's considered to be a little respectful, and who is not considered to be such a gimmicky kind of an interviewer. But still he did a lot of damage, because Venkat Prabhu is not the only person who gave an interview. There were other people as well who gave a few interviews, and they were also kind of overhyping the movie. So basically, that character from the movie, if you remember, Gandhi's wife's brother, that character,
Hmm.
the guy who in the
Yes,
end
yes, yes, yes,
runs
yes.
away with the, so that is actually
I'm
Venkat
just going to
Prabhu.
turn off the camera for like a few seconds. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, acha. So the character, basically, that guy is, I'll tell you, that guy is Venkat Prabhu's younger brother.
Oh, okay.
So that guy is like kind of a nepotism. He's like he's trolled a lot, because he's always in every Venkat Prabhu movie, in every, from the beginning stages, like from his
Hmm.
first ever film. That guy's
Hmm.
name is Premji.
Okay.
So you will find him in every Venkat Prabhu movie, because he is the only person who gives him a job. So,
All right.
and there are actually a bunch of actors, standard actors, who will always be present in Venkat Prabhu movies. So Venkat Prabhu is kind of trolled for that as well. That he's okay. He has a set of actors he works with, and these people will always be in all of his movies. So for us, that is also something that is kind of a trope associated. That's basically, a comparable trope. Like in Bollywood, you have Rohit Shetty. That, oh, okay, in every Rohit Shetty movie, a car is going to fly.
Yeah.
So same way, Venkat Prabhu has these kinds of tropes, that okay, in every Venkat Prabhu movie, Premji is going to be there, and then in every Venkat
Hmm.
Prabhu movie, there are going to be a certain faces, certain actors who are always going to be present. So, for
It's like
example,
Adam
I'll
Sandler.
kind of, yeah, like Adam Sandler, and how basically like now James Gunn is now
Yeah,
portrayed as.
yeah. Hmm.
So he's a little bit like
Also,
that.
SG.
SG movies, I don't know. I have
He's there in all
maybe.
his films, right? That he has directed. He's there.
I
He
mean,
does cameos.
he makes a cameo appearance. That is
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
This guy is like a proper nepotism. He runs a nepotism. kind of a team which in every movie these set of actors are always going to be present. They will always have some role. So for example, the role I'm talking about is you have this guy, the young Vijay's friend, you know, the guy
Ha 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 ha.
who's a hacker who steals the phone.
Yes, 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 yes. Ha.
So the like who doesn't steal the phone? I'm talking about you know Yogi Babu, right?
Yeah, I know. I've seen him in other films.
Yeah, Yogi Babu is the comedian who's the phone stealer, who steals the
Yeah, yeah.
phone.
Diamond
Yeah,
Babu
so
is he plays something like that, you know?
yeah, Diamond Babu. That character's name is Diamond Babu, but the character he steals the phone from.
Yes.
So that guy is also present in all of Venkat Prabhu's movie,
Okay.
and the another the you know the hacker from the SATs team, the
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
incompetent hacker. So that actor is all also present in all of Venkat Prabhu's movies.
Okay.
So look, so he has this trope. So yeah, so let's okay. So that's what I'm saying. So do you have anything else to talk about when it comes to the structure, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
shall we?
I've tons of structure problems I have.
Okay. So let's, before you start talking about the structure, let me come back to the story which I was talking about. I put a pin on Ilaya Talapathy, and then I'll start with let's talk about the opening scene, and then we'll go to the structure. So you you first give me your initial thoughts. Let's go moment by moment from the train sequence from that's basically what the whole movie starts from. So like let's talk about that briefly, and then I'll first you give me what your thoughts are, and then I'll start giving you a little bit of context, and then you'll also understand. Okay, this is why this happened. This is why this happened. In every scene, this is there. This is going to be there. In every moment, this is going to be there. So this is the problem with this particular movie, that yes, you have what is happening on screen, but you also have this extra context which actually kind of a hindrance for casual viewers. That is the problem. That is the main problem with this movie. And in the second half, this is much more prominent compared to the first half, because first half is still a little more character oriented, and you are still focused on what is happening in front of your screen. In the second half, it kind of goes haywire. So let's talk about the opening scene. You go ahead.
Yeah. So this is a problem I have with a lot of action films that open with an action sequence. Okay. Now, sure, you had the main villain in that opening sequence so that it ties up later when you find out that he's out to get revenge. Okay. Now, my problem is that your your opening sequence, while it is like a purely action sequence, uh, you have a good uh, amount of time to do a lot of characterization. Okay. And you have a good amount of time to do interpersonal relationships. So that is what they've done. They're focused here. They focus on the team here. That this is the team that you are going to, right? Yeah. So for the first scene, you will have no stakes. You know, all of them are going to survive to an extent, right? Yeah. So them being reckless in the first scene has no consequences till you find out that okay, there are actual consequences where you ended up killing somebody on that train that you didn't know of. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you do some level of characterization in the first scene. So I was pretty okay with um, how that turned out, even though there were a lot of like physics problems, but I don't really, yeah. So all of that I don't really care about. I only care about like how the film was written. Now
Okay.
now then begins my problem. Okay.
Wait. Now
Yeah.
I'll put a pin on it. You remember your point. We'll come back to this, because in every moment I'm going to give you some extra context which will
Hmm.
help you understand that why. Okay, this is how happened. So, do you remember how the movie kind of the train sequence opens? So there is a helicopter which comes up, and then this guy, you have Gandhi, who's being brought by a bunch of people, and then he is brought into the train, and you see him disguised, right?
Hmm.
So how what did you feel about the disguise which he was given? Like did you remember the mask which he was wearing?
No, it's not that clear. Maybe actually I was like a few minutes late to the
Okay.
theater, so I may have missed the mask thing.
So basically, they go the Mission Impossible route that he's kind of. So he there is a reveal moment which happens where he unmasks. So first he's wearing someone else's face, and then he is portrayed as a scientist who's here to test the uranium purity. And he goes inside and he tests the uranium, and he basically lies to the terrorist and tells them that this is a fake uranium, and then I have to take this to my personal lab to test the authenticity of it. So he's basically trying to trick the terrorists into handing the uranium over to him so that he can just uh, go away. So like when exactly did you start watching this movie from? Like where exactly did you which scene?
I think once I stepped in, Vijay takes out like that gun and starts shooting. I think that's.
Oh, okay. So you kind of missed the he you kind of missed one of the most like okay, this is one of the so I'll tell you basically if you rewatch that scene, what happens is he comes in a disguise wearing the face of a deceased actor, a real
Okay.
life Tamil cinema actor, and
Hmm.
he who was a very instrumental figure in Vijay's cinema career. So there is an actor called Vijay, an
Hmm.
old actor. So he was from that era. Like he was one of Rajnikant's contemporaries, and he was also a politician who just passed away in December of last year.
Oh.
And what happened was he was a very big star back in the day, like during the 80s, 90s, and early to some extent to the early phase of to early 2000s. So he was a very big star, not as big as Rajnikant or Kamal Hassan, but still one of the most influential actors from Tamil cinema. And he used to do a lot of these kinds of nationalistic these kinds of movies, nationalistic desh bhakti, the kind of movies which Akshay Kumar used to do, that
Hmm.
it was a trope that okay, this guy Vijay Kant is always going to portray a nationalistic army officer, police officer, these kinds of roles he used to always take. And then in every movie, what used to happen was this guy used to fight terrorists and all. So that is one of that is one of the trope associated with that actor, Vijay Kant's actor. So I was talking about Vijay's first film and it how he was badly trolled for his looks and appearance, and everyone kind of like deemed him to be completely unworthy to be even consider him to be an actor because he was very scrawny. And imagine an 18, 19-year old kid. Of course he's not going to. And back in the day, not he was not even like the current generation of 18, 19, who are fully pumped up with gym and all of that. Like he was not like that. And if you look at, and I'll tell you, I'll give you an exact visual reference. So from the movie itself, like after the abduction scene of the child, you
Hmm.
see a teenage deepfake Vijay.
Yeah.
So, there is a reason why that scene is there and why that look is there in the film. That is how he looked when he was 19 years old. That was
Okay.
his basically that was his first look. That was the look from his first movie.
Okay.
So that is why they had that particular look in this movie because of Vijay's kind of going away. He's announced his retirement from movies. So it is kind of a tribute. So this movie is kind of a tribute, and this movie has a lot of references to his older movies. It is kind of that is the kind of tribute which Venkat Prabhu set out to make. And you see that in the title sequence as well. When Vijay's name gets introduced, you see a mashup of all his famous characters throughout the years
Hmm.
which he
Hmm.
has.
Hmm.
So that is, so that is the intention behind making this film as well. It's like if he's going away from cinema, so it is, this movie is kind of a victory lap for him. And this movie has a lot of references to one of Vijay's biggest, arguably one of his best and biggest movies ever from 2004. Its name is Gilly. And you, there are a lot of scenes from this, from that movie, and there are a lot of dialogues from that movie which get referenced in this a lot of times, a lot of times, especially in that song as well. That, that yellow sari actress, that actress is the Trisha.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
so that was the actress who was in Gilly. And in this year 2024 is the 20th anniversary of Gilly, and that movie re-released back in April. And that movie was re-released in theaters, and it kind of minted, it kind of got the same rage response as 20 years ago. So that movie was a big success again, once more. So there are a lot of reference. So after the after the whole mission, there is a song sequence which happens, and then Gandhi comes back to his home, and then, he's drunk, he's caught drunk, and the next morning he fakes that whole puja part, na. So that moment, that entire, that song which he sings, I don't know how it came out in Hindi, but in Tamil, that scene is exactly from that, from Gilly.
Okay.
So that is what I'm saying. So these are the kind of references which Venkat Prabhu has inserted, which, so basically that works in this movie also. That particular reference works, but it is actually a reference. It is actually a callback to that earlier movie. And since that movie kind of released this year and became a very big hit once more, so it kind of pandered to that audience once
But
more. And
like my issue is that all of these references, they add to the enjoyment of the film for someone who understands them, but the
exactly,
quality remains the same, right?
yeah, yeah.
And it's
I
it's
mean,
like
for a
it's like
casual,
watching No Way Home for like a casual person watching No Way Home,
yeah,
right? He would
yeah,
not that person would never understand, and that person would not like the movie either, because they
yeah,
don't because that movie is relying on callbacks and everything,
nostalgia,
right?
nostalgia, exactly.
Yeah,
So that is one of the biggest problems of this movie as well. It
yeah,
has a lot of nostalgia. And for someone like you, who has, who doesn't care and who does not have that connection, you don't understand why people are even celebrating that particular moment. Because if you had actually watched that movie with a Tamil audience, you would have had a different experience, and you would not have understood that why are people hooting and why are people celebrating this particular moment, what is there. You would be curious to understand why people are celebrating that moment, and it would be a hindrance for you, because it will keep
yeah,
taking you out of the movie again and again, again and again, again and again. Like, why is this happening, why is this happening, why, what kind of, what is this. So that is one of the biggest problems which I have when it comes to nostalgia content as well. And, like, that is one of the reasons why in Hindi this movie is not working as much, because people don't have a contextual reference that, okay, why, what is the point of this,
yeah,
what is the point of this. But arguably, that's what I'm saying, in the first half, these kind of callbacks, they don't take away from the plot that much, they don't. It still works. That whole puja wala moment, when it makes sense, because of course, for you it will be like, yeah, this, the wife is angry and he's trying to cover up because he got caught drinking the previous night. So that, you understand the character moment, but it does not generate the same kind of experience or high for you which it may generate for someone like me, or someone, a hardcore fan, who wants to see that, who wants to, get that kind of feeling again. So that is one thing. So, okay, coming back to the mask which I was talking about, that guy, that character, basically in 1992 Vijay's movie released, and it completely bombed. And what happened was, in the next movie itself, what Vijay's father did was, he requested Vijay Kant, the actor, to kind of, act in this movie, and he cast Vijay as Vijay Kant's younger brother. So basically, it was like an extended cameo of sort, which Vijay Kant did free of cost, just for friendship or
hmm,
so. And that kind of catapulted Vijay's career to some extent, because that movie worked, that movie was a success, and because of Vijay Khan's contribution, Vijay was kind of indebted to that guy Vijay Kant for and he shared a very good bond with that late actor. So that is why they had that reference in this movie once again, that it was a twofold reference, that that first of all you have this scientist who's dealing with terrorists, so you have Vijay Kant, and plus the fact that Vijay is wearing the mask of Vijay Kant and he then unmasks to reveal. So that is a twofold reference point, which again gets celebrated in theaters for those people who know this entire context. But for a casual viewer like you will be like, yeah, you'll be like, he's just a random guy, as you
Yeah,
said. So that is the thing, that is the problem, that is once again another, it comes back to the same thing, that okay, nostalgia and contextual reference, missing contextual reference, which kind of it's like this movie will have a lot of pieces missing which you don't know. For you to completely experience this particular movie, you need to be aware of all these things, then only you will be fully
yeah,
able to understand why this happened, why this happened. So that was the first moment which happened from here. And there are actually, there is one more thing. If you I don't know if you remember the full names of all the characters. So there is kind of a cheeky reference to this as well. What happens is Prabhudeva's name is Kalyan, I believe, and his name, when there is when the introduction happens, everyone's name gets
yes,
that
yes,
tag, right? So his name is Kalyan Sundaram, and Sundaram is basically Prabhudeva's real father's last name. So Prabhudeva's name is Prabhudeva Sundaram. And the
okay,
same way, the other guy, the like the helicopter, the guy who's Vijay's friend, later who the younger Vijay uh, kills the daughter of that guy. So that actor. So his name is Sunil in the movie, but his last name is Sunil Tyagarajan. So Tyagarajan is that actor's real father's name. So Venkat Prabhu gave that reference, and there is a reason why this guy's name, Vijay's character is named M.S. Gandhi, because he wanted to tie it up with M.S. Dhoni.
yeah, yeah, that is fine. I got that.
So Venkat Prabhu did these kinds of things as well. So there are these are a little. So the problem with I have with Venkat Prabhu is he focused a lot of time, and he focused a lot of dedicated a lot of his efforts in coming up with these kinds of ancillary things which are not going to enhance. I mean, yes, it is going to, it is kind of a gimmick, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
It was not enhancing your story in any way, it was not enhancing your overall experience and overall narrative in any way. It was just frills, and it was just there to just uplift. I mean, a cheap thrill, that's what I'm saying. It was just there for cheap thrills,
yeah,
which is
that's
why
cheap
you
thrill.
are not, you were not able to get the full what it was, you were not getting the full impact of what it was. So yeah, so this was the first section. So that is the thing, that is the context which I wanted to give to the first scene of the train sequence. So now let's yeah, continue from where you left off. You said that
Okay,
you had a lot of problems, the real problems start from after the train
yeah,
sequence. Yeah, so
yeah.
let's continue
So,
from there.
so what I've observed is like a lot, a lot of action movies, specifically Telugu action films. Um, they open with like an action sequence, and immediately after that they have a small, like a small sequence where it's just meant to be funny. Okay,
Yeah.
they try to introduce some interpersonal relationships and then lighten the mood a little bit. वहाँ पे सब jokes आएंगे, सब the character will act a little goofy. Okay, uh, now there is a list of problems I have with that particular scene. The least of which is I I don't think his name is Gandhi. Yeah, I don't think Gandhi loves his family. I
Okay.
don't think Gandhi loves his family. Okay.
Hmm.
If he does, you have not sold me on it through
Yeah.
that scene. That is
Yeah.
the primary purpose of that scene. Okay,
Yeah.
you show it to me that he cares about his family. The way he lies to his wife, okay, he could do that in a very subtle way, but he
Yeah.
drags that,
Yeah.
and it is passed off as laughter, where the wife is genuinely concerned for him. The wife is
Yeah.
genuinely going through, and she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Okay, and he just laughs it off, and you are supposed to laugh it off as well.
Yeah.
And this is the least of those problems, I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
where you don't firstly, you don't have any good female characters in the film. Okay,
Yeah.
the one
Yeah.
the one who is taking some space, you are disrespecting her character as a mother and as a wife.
Actually,
Okay,
this arguably the strongest female character is the wife, and who
yes,
was rendered completely useless later. Where there is no role for her after that birth scene, and once when like the adult the or the present day in the present day sequence, she literally has no agency whatsoever.
no, nothing.
Yeah, so that
uh
is that is yeah, poorly
and then
written character, but that is something
very
which that is expected from Tamil cinema.
and I'm now going to make some comparisons, because I spent a lot of time thinking about this particular thing. So if you don't consider the part where Jeevan comes back, okay, you
Yeah,
only take the part where he gets kidnapped. Okay,
yeah,
and we'll talk about that scene as well. um
yeah,
this is taken. Okay, so
yeah,
taken. Okay,
yeah,
that
yeah.
entire sequence is taken does not start with an action sequence. It starts with the most important thing, which this movie completely ignores: the relationship between the father and the daughter.
Exactly, exactly.
You cannot skip over the relationship between Jeevan and Jeevan and Gandhi. That's the whole point of the film.
They kind of show it in bits and pieces, but it's not
But
enough.
it's not very convincing. It's the most important part of your film.
Yeah,
You sell the relationship between these characters. You don't
yeah,
individually characterize them.
yeah,
Okay, you sell the interpersonal relationship. Now,
yeah.
there is a scene, and I will compare this directly. I recently saw Maharaja on Netflix. Okay,
Okay, I haven't seen Maharaja.
yeah, just a small. This is a very small spoiler, and it's such a brilliant way to show that a father cares about his daughter. Okay, so the daughter is being scolded for something that she has not done by the principal. Okay,
Okay,
the principal is scolding her. Okay, the father comes, and he apologize I think he says something that she can't do this, you check. Okay, and then the principal is proven wrong by one of the teachers. The teacher says that she didn't do it, it was somebody else. Okay,
okay,
and the principal says fine, you can go. The father does not go. The father says, please apologize to my daughter, you scolded
okay,
her for no reason. Okay, the principal says, what, do you know who I am? I will not apologize. Okay, and he asks the guards to carry this person out of his office.
hmm,
Okay, he holds on to one of the some rod or something. Okay, and he has such a grip that while they are pulling him, he does not lose that grip, and he actually sort of takes it, उखाड़ देता है वहां से वो. Okay,
hmm,
uh, to the point where the daughter goes to the principal, please apologize or my father will not let go. Okay,
okay.
you have sold me.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
I know something bad is going to happen to the daughter by the scene only.
yeah,
Sure, but when it does happen, I actually feel something. So when
yeah.
Jeevan dies, I feel nothing, because you've not sold me on the relationship between the father and the daughter and the son.
So yeah, so I'll tell you, like, okay, you carry on. I'll talk about the problem, the entire problem stems from the characterization of Gandhi. Like,
Yeah,
the characterization of Gandhi is weak. It's so weak that the only reason why the movie is bearable is because because there is a actor like Vijay portraying this particular role, and he has a certain charisma and charm which is able to which is kind of making the audience digest this particular character. Yeah, yeah, you understand.
The stand is not really. I think it's broken or something. The stand is
Okay.
broken. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
Huh. So the okay. So there is building on this. There is no growth. Okay, in Gandhi's character in terms of how he conducts operations. Fine, you have made a mistake of taking your family to Thailand. Okay, it's a reckless mistake.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but and then you have paid for it
Yeah.
with Jeevan dying. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Now at least I know that there are consequences in this world. Where if you are
Yeah.
reckless, something will happen to you. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
He does not disassociate himself with his family years later.
Yeah.
Do not make any contact with the family. That will tell me that you have grown as a character. Okay, no contact with the mom, no contact with the wife, no contact with your own daughter. Okay, just separate yourself from them. But he's still in their lives, knowing that he's putting them in danger just by being there.
No, see, arguably, they kind of address that the mom and dad are not talking, and it's like
Yeah,
it's been years, and the that is kind of the problem when it comes to these kinds of time skips. Whenever a very crucial moment happens, and then the movie decides to skip a lot of time, this is the problem, because what you are saying, I feel that this would have happened in the initial stages, right after
could have. Yeah,
Jane dying, and basically they show there's enough time has passed. I think 16 or 17 years have passed. 2008 they showed the incident happening. The Kenya mission was 2008, so I'm assuming so now it's 2024. So if you calculate the time, it's been 16 years. So if you
yeah.
say in 16 years time, I can understand, I can accept where this guy is in his life, that yes, he's now trying to be part of their life again, and the wife, he's they are divorced now, they are not talking to each other, and the girl child Jivita, she's trying to she's trying to bring her parents back together, and she wants them back together, so
But
that kind
I
of works.
understand.
I mean,
But it's a structural issue, is what I'm saying.
maybe,
Is that if you're
yeah,
skipping,
that
I
is one
sort
of
of
the
want to
things
know
which
some
I
of the
don't,
details.
that is one of the things which I don't like with time skips,
Yeah.
time skips is a very cheap narrative tool, very cheap narrative tool. You can't end a moment like that that abduction, and that child dying, and then it is, if you think about it, it is a very tragic and a cathartic moment for Gandhi's character, that what is happening, his life is completely crumbling in front of him, that if you think about that moment,
Did they blur the child where you at your screening? The burnt
yeah,
body?
yeah, the burnt child, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Okay. Yeah, same thing. But
Yeah, yeah.
it looked so bad. The burnt
Yeah,
body,
it did look
so
bad. I
bad.
mean, yeah, I mean they censored a lot of things from this movie. They were censoring that, during that scene also, when we see the child trafficking zone, where you
Hmm.
see someone, the finger getting cut, that was censored,
Yes.
and then later when Srinidhi, when he's basically slicing her throat,
Yeah.
that is censored. So they censored all of that. I believe that was
Which she
that
survives for whatever reason.
I'll tell you why she survives. She survives just to let the audience know that Prabhu
Yes,
Deva
yes,
is a
yes.
bad guy.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's all. That's the
So
only
many
reason why she
so
survives.
many
Otherwise,
structural
there is no
issues.
reason for her to survive.
It's the thing. This is the problem. They have written the scene. They've written the end of the scene. This is what a lot of writers do. But they have not written the beginning से लेकर कहाँ तक पहुंचेगा. And then they
Yeah,
बाद में they decide कि हाँ ऐसे 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 कर scene design करते हैं
yeah,
so that we can get to the end of the scene.
yeah.
Huge problem.
Okay, so let's come back to the time skip part. That why, I mean, that time skip, I feel it's a very cheap moment. And if they had decided to, okay, so now before I complete this train of thought, I want to talk about that whole sequence, that Thailand sequence. Yes, what happens, and I'll tell you something, that Gandhi, I feel he's a very bad agent.
Yes.
He's very bad. This and the whole team, they are bad at their jobs. I feel
Yeah.
this is a very incompetent team. I feel if you think about it, dude. I mean, you are the way he's portrayed. I mean, let's talk about the that abduction part from the hospital. How Jeevan kind of gets abducted from the hospital. First of all, any responsible father is not going to leave such a young child unattended in a
Yes.
strange country, in a strange I mean, you never leave a child unattended in your own backyard, rather than you are going to some other nation. And why would you leave your child unattended? I mean, it's not like this child is he was not even 10 or 11 years old. He was, I believe, 5 years or 6 years old, something like
Around.
that.
Yeah.
And you could have easily carried him with you and then gone and did filled out the required formalities. He just, the people were asking him to come to the reception and sign. Any father with a common sense would carry his child and go downstairs. Why would you leave your child unattended? Or you would have requested someone else to look after the child. I mean, you would have left someone to guard the child, a nurse or some compounder or someone in the hospital, any official
अरे
person.
गोद में उठा के जाना है.
Exactly, that is what I'm
Fucking.
saying. You could have
हाँ.
done that. But I understand why they chose that. That is the easiest narrative way to that was a
Once
plot
again, they
contrivance.
know the
That
end
was
of
a
the
plot.
scene. They're writing the scene around that.
That was a plot contrivance for sure. That was a plot contrivance. They needed to go to the next step, so they sacrificed that character choice, that human characteristic which any parent, common sense. I mean, you would never leave a child, as in you would never leave a child who's older than how Jeevan was. If Jeevan was even 12 years or 13 years old, that child will also not be left alone. That child will be forced to, if it was a common, if it was an Indian parent and that child was like, "Arey, mere pair mein dard ho raha hai," that is literally what Jeevan says. Ki my leg is paining. I'm going to sit here. If it was my mom, she would have smacked me like, "Chal."
Yeah.
That is what a normal parent does. But I'll tell you something. I kind of make it makes sense why they left that scene out. It kind of becomes a warning to parents that, okay, don't leave your children unattended. So I feel for that kind of messaging, this scene is fine. I can accept it. That okay, fine. That you have given you have reminded parents to be mindful of their situation, and then mindful of their surroundings when you are with children. So I'll tell you a very funny incident what happened in the movie theater itself. Me and Vishnu, so the seats which we were sitting in, it was literally the in the row. We were sitting on the central area, but we were sitting on the corner. So Vishnu was sitting right at the end, I was sitting on the second last seat. And what happened was, during the movie, because this movie we were watching the Tamil version of the movie, and everyone had come with their families. So there were a lot of family, there were a lot of kids also, like young
Hmm.
kids, just like Jeevan as well. And what happened was, during the movie, I believe a couple of children went to the washroom and then they came back, and one of the boys, it was a young boy, and he kind of got lost. I believe that he could not find where his parents were sitting, and he literally, he was here and he was right next to Vishnu. So, and Vishnu kind of got distracted and he was looking at him, that what's happening and what's happening. Later Vishnu was telling, I got bloody distracted by that child and I missed a certain part of the movie. And then I was like, dude, that is what this movie was also talking about.
Yeah.
Don't leave your kids unattended. Bloody this is, we literally see that happening. So that's what I'm saying, that this is actually one of I feel that that moment is a necessary lesson which every parent should learn. I mean, they need to be mindful of their surroundings, man, because you know once you lose your child, if it's a girl child, it gets she'll go into sex trafficking. If it's a boy child, this is what is going to happen to boys.
एंड्रू
That's
टेट ढूंढ लेगा उसको. गर्ल चाइल्ड को.
that is what I'm saying. So No, I understand that, but वो तो काट लेंगे. But what I'm saying is this is a lesson which needs to be reminded. Okay, so now coming back to Gandhi's characterization, like
No, you
he
start with, you do not bring your pregnant wife to a mission.
that is for sure.
वहां से
He that is
वहां
for
से
sure.
स्टार्ट करना है.
For whatever reason, if you know the reason which they gave was kind of a little flimsy, was that his wife was doubting him. That is why he's taking her on a mission. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like, dude, if you want to, if you already revealed the truth that you are part of a sad
Yeah.
scheme. I am saying, if you want to convince her, show her the actual office, go to the office and show her. I mean, bloody anyways you're going to reveal the truth. It kind of played for laughs. I mean, it was another plot contrivance, and it was
No,
played.
it's a there is a very good way to fix this. Okay, you can just show that he tells his boss, "Sir, my wife and I are going through a rough patch. We want
Yeah,
to take a vacation so that my wife
yeah,
can have a proper delivery and everything." And
yeah,
then he takes a vacation to Thailand, and Thailand may you can still have Menon send the
yeah,
people.
yeah,
Why do you need to show that he's on the mission?
yeah.
What, yeah, what purpose is this achieving? You can
I
easily fix that.
Okay, so I believe the only I mean, yeah, you could have easily fixed it through that kind of narrative. That would have preserved Gandhi's characterization. Yeah, I agree
Yes.
with that. I agree with that. I agree with what you're saying. That would have shown him in a better light that yes, even though he cares for his family, that is what someone with common sense will do. That ultimately the job, yeah, of course. And there is a consequence that Menon is coming to attack him, because of course that is his job which is coming back. So that would have made much more sense. So that is what I'm saying, that Gandhi is very incompetent.
Yeah.
That he's shown to be incompetent, that first of all you are leaving your child unattended. That is the stupidest thing. I mean, you are a bloody trained agent, dude. You literally came and you literally had people attack you a few minutes ago, just
Yes.
before this scene, and you are leaving your child unattended, dude. How irresponsible of a father are you, that you are not even qualified to be a father, let alone a agent? You are a bloody agent. You are on foreign soil. You don't have any coverage and you don't have anything. So you would not let a child unattended like that. So that was very dumb, I personally feel, as a character. And then what happens is, this stupidity of Gandhi is, it continues, it carries
Yes.
forward throughout the movie. When you see, he's so incompetent that every in every juncture you see him losing everything. I mean, dude, that's what happens. Like, the main guy, the head of this team, he's killed, and then Srinidhi gets killed, and then what happens is, the detonator, almost he loses the detonator. Right till the
Yeah.
end, you are shown that Gandhi is bloody incompetent. He's so
Yeah.
incompetent. That is why Jeevan, when he comes back as Sanjay, he is much more competent. He's on the wrong side, but whatever he's setting out to do, he's achieving it. So,
Yes.
and Gandhi's incompetence is shown from scene one. The first mission which he goes, that also goes horribly.
And he
He's
gives excuses. We didn't
Yeah,
know
he
Menon
gives
was there.
excuses.
Yeah.
So I feel that was an unintentional way to characterize him, and it shows him to be very incompetent. I'm like, dude, why? How did you get selected for this agency, man? You are so bad at this job. You only deserve to be a desk clerk, which he was, in
Think
that
it's a
airport
small thing.
security.
Think about one of the sequences where they're showing that they're showing his Gharilu life, how it mixes with the agent life. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
where he's
yeah,
on a call with his wife and
yeah,
he's hanging. Yeah, ठीक है,
yeah,
repel कर रहा है वो
yeah,
ऊपर से
yeah.
वो it's a funny
So
scene, sure.
yeah, it's a
It's a
very funny
really
scene.
original funny scene,
Yeah,
done very well.
yeah,
But think about it, like zoom out, think about how incompetent he is to
yeah,
take that
exactly.
call.
Exactly. In the middle of an operation, why would you take that call? And it is revealed later that after the wife hears the Russian girl, he switches off his
Yes,
phone. Why didn't you turn off your phone
explain.
in the beginning? And if you think about it, you are on. I'm imagining he was on a foreign soil, so
Yes.
he's conducting a covert operation, and you have your personal phone with you, which is working, and this your wife is calling from India. I mean, what? Why would you
Yeah.
have? See, so
So
that is the problem.
bad agent, bad father, bad husband, all a bad, bad man. Just all
Bad man. I
all
mean,
across the guy. Just
very incompetent. I would say very incompetent,
hard
and
to root for him. That is the problem.
yeah, hard to root for him. And it's like, and there is another scene in the end where you see, dude, what are you even saying? I will come. Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about it right now, since we are already talking about Gandhi's incompetencies. Let's talk about the ending scene where he's in the stadium and he's in front of the box, and then he's threatening Menon to, to motivate, to kind of
Hmm.
anger Jeevan. So that's what I'm saying. So he's basically, that scene is also played for laughs, where he's kind of hitting Menon, and he's telling him, "What son have you raised? What son is this? How you raise a son? Is this how you raise a son, dude? He literally kidnapped your child. He kidnapped you. He faked your child's death. He tortured your child. He actively brainwashed your child into turning against you. That child grows up to kill your best friend's daughter, your army chief, and he's planning to blast this entire stadium, and you are literally playing cracking jokes in this particular moment. That was completely another stupid writing.
How many efforts did he make to convince Jeevan? Ki
None.
nothing.
Nothing.
If
I
you're a
mean,
good father, try to talk to your son in a very personal way. Okay.
not see. So that is the problem, right? You never had that Gandhi's character never had a chance to interact with his son. His son was very young when he was abducted. I mean,
Yeah.
I think 5 6 years old. So
Easy.
at that age, you literally don't have any sort of bonding with your father. I mean, the bonding with your father you have, it is a very playful bonding. You cannot have deep conversations with him. And by the time Jeevan comes back, Gandhi is a stranger to him. He's just someone who looks like him, and for him, he's the enemy. So he's loyal to Menon rather than Gandhi. And I kind of feel Menon was a much better father. Of course, he was a monster. Like what he put that child through, that was completely horrendous. But if you think about it, they never address the fact that what Menon was planning for this guy, like for
Hmm.
Sanjay, like for this Jeevan. Once his revenge was over, was he going to kill Jeevan, or was he going to brand Jeevan as a terrorist along with Gandhi, and completely, he was just a bait. He was a puppet who was raised for this sole purpose. And what happens to Jeevan after this purpose is served? Was Menon actually, did Menon actually care for this particular child which he raised as a weapon, or was he just faking it? It is never shown, and it is, and you don't get a sense of it. I mean, I don't know what sort of relationship, because you see that Jeevan has complete loyalty, and actually he has a soft corner for Menon, because you see the reactions which is happening when Menon is,
Hmm. Hmm.
he's actually concerned for Menon. He shows genuine concern for Menon in that particular scene. So where Jeevan's positioning is in this relationship. You don't know what Menon's positioning is. So that is one, I believe that that is something which could have, there are a lot of things which could have kind of turned Jeevan around, that to help him break his programming. But I feel the maker did not want to go there. Makers wanted to keep this character irredeemable to the last extent. I believe that was the intention for the writer. And as you said, Gandhi never tries to, the only time he has a conversation with Jeevan is at the end, when he's threatening Jeevita.
I'm
And
sure you have some photos. दिखा दे इसको थोड़ा.
हाँ,
Okay. Try to convince. Okay.
no, but I
It's
ठीक है, but I believe, I'll tell you that you won't be able to. Jeevan was beyond redemption because I'll tell you why I feel that he was beyond redemption, because of that scene with the child, that abduction scene, and then the traumatizing scene in the child trafficking
No,
den.
I
What?
understand that completely.
So that scene is so impactful.
But
You know that
Gandhi doesn't know. Gandhi doesn't know
Gandhi
कि उसके
doesn't
साथ
know.
क्या
That is
हुआ
the
है.
thing. No, for Gandhi, it is completely you don't you. And the thing is, yeah. So let's come back to Gandhi's incompetencies. That is the biggest incompetency. I'll tell you, dude. Your child just passed. Your child got kidnapped, got abducted by a kidnapping ring, and that accident happened, and your child lost its life. You are a bloody agent. What would, like, you are skilled, you've been doing this is your bloody job. Take revenge. You are skilled, you have a team at your disposal who does this kinds of
A
operation.
regular
At
person
least,
would have taken revenge.
exactly what exactly happens in Taken.
And
This is what.
you've seen their faces or something, right? Like something has happened. I think assumes that the people who took him died in that van or something, maybe.
Dude, but at least there is, if it was an ordinary father, for them this would have worked. You are a bloody agent who you know that this particular operation is not going to get over with that, just with that single van. It will be a bigger enterprise, it will have much bigger network of operatives across Thailand. A father will be so pissed off, he would try to take revenge. You are a bloody agent, you would conduct a whole covert operation to completely eradicate the entire kidnapping and child trafficking. I mean, yeah, a kidnapping ring, because according to you this was like a kidnapping. So you would seek revenge, you would completely take you would not do what Gandhi did. I mean, that is the problem with Gandhi's characterization is, he is a convenient agent. He is portrayed as a convenient agent for the plot. Whenever the plot requires him to be a agent, he is an agent. Otherwise, he's shown to be a regular guy, a regular family
Yeah.
man. That is the problem with Gandhi's character. The reactions which he gives after an abduction, he's crying in the police station. He looks so helpless. Dude, you are a
Yeah.
bloody agent. You are not a helpless father. I understand your child is missing, you have to portray that emotion, but you are trained for these kinds of situations to take charge of for something, and then you have to keep your calm and figure it out. I know you are on a strange land, you don't speak the language, but that is what a secret agent does.
Yeah. Instead, he mumbles the Mission Impossible tune. Like
That was, oh, that ठीक है वो,
the
that was
smart ass
before.
बन रहा है ये बंदा. जब
Yeah.
जब जब टाइम आया तब he did nothing.
Exactly, when it counted, you did not do anything. When you were, first of all, you got attacked when you were just on inside a taxi, and then you did all that action sequence, वगैरह सब कुछ हुआ. Then you were fighting, and then you were like, okay, I would say, okay, that you hid your wife and वहाँ पे, and then you were fighting a lot. Okay, that makes sense. It shows you that you are capable.
Yeah.
That scene, that is the scene where we see that, okay, you can actually, this guy can handle himself. I'm with you. In that moment, I'm with you. But after that, when your child gets abducted, do at least show. I mean, yes, I understand it is a trauma, and yes, I understand what you are going through is beyond, I mean, it is horrible. But dude, you are still an agent. कुछ तो कर ले भाई, कुछ तो कर ले. So that is one of the biggest problems which I have with this movie, and that is one of the biggest problems where why I feel that this movie could have taken a very different direction. I would have, like, if this characterization was preserved, what would have happened is this time skip could have happened. But what could have happened was we could have seen a little more of Gandhi in his younger days after this accident, hunting everyone in Thailand. And what happens is, after he completely eradicates, like, a big, he's cutting through the criminal network and reaching the top of the criminal network, and he completely takes revenge for his son's death. And what happens is, then once he has done everything, then you start with the time skip, and then you show that what's happening. That would have preserved Gandhi's agent characterization, that okay, he's an agent, because we need to keep seeing that he's an agent. This was a very dumb writing choice, I feel.
It's another one where, what if he had never gone to Russia?
Yeah.
क्या प्लान था मेनन का?
हाँ.
He
No,
had
but
set up the
that
entire
is
gang.
that is
वहां पे उसको
नहीं नहीं, वो रशिया भी, if you think about it, Prabhudeva's character is the one which who prompts him to go to Russia.
hmm,
So that was a plan. Prabhudeva is the one who keeps suggesting to for him to go to Russia. So that was the plan from the get go. That okay, he will go to Russia, and then over there, then Jeevan will
हाँ,
is
but
inserted
he
there.
could have just as easily said no कि भाई मेरी life यहाँ पे है, I'm doing this job, I would lose custody to my
तो
uh,
वो बोलता है वो.
daughter.
He
हाँ,
tells him.
but he gets convinced very easily again. It's
हाँ.
a problem with his character. He gets convinced very easily to go to Russia. दो एक दो लोग बोलते हैं, somebody is trying to say like जा रहा हूँ, like dude,
हाँ, I
what?
know.
This
I
is
know.
how you get convinced? This is a very important plot point.
That is the problem, na. And also I feel that like there was no reason for that to take place in Russia, other than the fact that the makers wanted to have an action
It's a
sequence in
spy
Russia.
movie.
Yeah,
It's
that's
going
it.
to happen.
Otherwise, that
थाईलैंड में
whole
भी नहीं जाना था उनको, but जाना पड़ा.
nahi, Thailand wala I can still understand, that has a better narrative impact compared to
They
this.
use they use the elements in Thailand's better than Russia. That's
Yeah, they use the elements, they like the of course the plot contrivance for taking the family to Thailand was still a little
yeah.
flimsy, but it works better than how what happens when he goes to Russia. And again, the that is the Russia episode, is the Moscow episode, the is how you write a very bad sequence which is completely redundant. If you take out that a good example is basically Thailand and the train sequence. So that action had to happen in the train sequence. If you take the space away, that scene will be completely different. So that is why the
Yeah.
space is very important. And the same way, Thailand also makes a lot of sense because again, you don't. This guy is supposed to be kind of a spy, and he doesn't know the language, and he's shown to be in a foreign soil with danger to his family. If that particular incident had happened in India, he would have had much better control. So it
Hmm.
had to happen. That mission had to happen in Thailand, and he had to take his family to Thailand. So Thailand also makes sense. Yes, that could have been any other foreign country as well, but okay, I
Yeah.
can
This
accept
is fair.
that Thailand. Yeah.
I just need to refer to the notes that I have made. Um, yeah.
Moscow is a very bad. It's a very bad way to construct a sequence where the only reason you are going to Moscow is because you guys have already planned a chase sequence happening in Moscow, a bike chase sequence happening in
Which
Moscow. That is
also
the
does
only.
not make any sense.
Yeah, that is the thing. And
The horrible
okay,
chase
that
sequence.
that whole bike chase sequence was to because Mission Impossible does that, so they also had to do that. So that is what they did. Okay, now let's talk about that. The best scene from the movie for me, the best scene from the movie for me was Jeevan and Gandhi's conversation, which happens on the bridge. That was
Hmm.
actually the best scene for me when it
Hmm.
comes to Gandhi's like, you see the reaction which he gives, and you see
From an
the
acting perspective.
not even from, I mean, yes, you can say that to an extent, but I am talking about from the character's perspective, that he completely breaks down. He's on his knees, and he's hugging his
Okay.
son,
The
and he's
reaction.
he's
Yeah.
asking for forgiveness. So that moment was, that was an impactful moment for me, and it was heartfelt for me as well, that yes, this is how a father who believes, I mean, that the child you thought lost is in front of you, and you know that, and at that moment you the weight of the knowledge that you have missed an entire life of your child, that is so much for you to handle, that you lose your balance and then you are on your knees. So that moment for me worked, and that was actually a very good for Gandhi's the way they set it up for Gandhi, that okay, this is a father, a broken man, and once he stands up, immediately he's like, "Come on, let's go home, let's go home." So
Hmm.
then the young Jeevan is like, "Dude, no, I can't go. I mean, you don't know about the gang," and then you have that, you don't know about your dad. So you know you have that. So I
Yeah.
mean, of course, when it for that context and for that particular star value, that dialogue works, but as a character point of view, I'm like, dude, your dad is incompetent. And
Yeah.
just to prove the point he's incompetent, I'll tell you a very funny thing which happens. Like Gandhi tells Jeevan that no power in this world is going to no power in this world can make me even move an inch from this spot, and the very next second someone shoots and he moves 2 steps back.
Yeah.
So you know, just to reinforce the fact that you are incompetent, they do
Incompetent.
that. Yeah, you know, so that is one. So yeah, for me that bridge sequence worked, and how they
Thumbnail pe put, let's put Gandhi's characters here, and they say
ha
incompetent. This is like question
ha
mark.
incompetent, because I see, I know for a fact that yes, as an actor I like Vijay, and I've been following his
Even I
movies for,
like Vijay. He
yeah,
was convincing.
no,
As
convincing,
the
yes.
incompetent agent, he was convincing.
No, that is a troll. That is trolling aside. What I'm saying is the Jeevan character which he portrayed, the psychopath, he completely nailed that performance. I feel that
Hmm.
character worked for me, but the equally the because when you have a strong villain, you need an equally strong protagonist as well. Then only the conflict will be interesting. Here, the protagonist is weak. Here, the
Very.
protagonist is very weak. So that is why you don't feel at like this is a this guy is you don't have that sense of that, okay, when the hero kind of wins, you don't feel that कि अरे ये तो incompetent है. So that is the problem
Yeah.
with this. That is one of the main problems with this movie, that there are a lot of moments which are like, dude, you are a normal person won't do the things which you as an agent are doing. That is the problem with this particular movie. I have in many scenes this happens. So these are some scenes which stood out to me, but as we are discussing more, there will be a lot more scenes that
Yeah.
will come where Gandhi is so incompetent, so shown to be so incompetent. Okay, so yeah,
Okay. One point I would like to make.
yeah.
And this is a problem with Indian movies in general. Um, a song serves a purpose inside a story. Okay. Yeah. Songs are not meant to undercut the emotion you are feeling. And it's like कि ये सब देख लिया अब एक गाना सुनो. That is not the point of a song in a film.
The song
Okay.
placements were so bad. In this,
It's really
especially
bad.
in the second half. First
It's
half
so
में song
abrupt the way you switch to songs,
the
firstly, and
first half
then
mein
the
the
song
songs were
itself.
still first half mein the songs were still better placed. Like you had the initial song, the opening song after the mission, and then the second song which you have was after Jeevan gets reunited with the family, so there is a love song. So that these two songs are well placed, I feel.
Yeah.
Second half songs were horrendous, absolutely horrible, horrible,
Also,
horrible placement.
okay, this is a request to everyone who is doing dubbing. Please don't dub songs. Leave the songs as they
thankfully
are. Okay,
thankfully I did not.
translate the songs and put them as subtitles, but please don't, because the Hindi dub songs, they the translation is very literal. Plus, they use very ancient Hindi words. Okay,
Okay, yeah, that
so
never
it's
works.
and this, it's pointless. Nobody wants to know the meaning, and unless and
But
until
you
कि
know,
song का कुछ meaning है,
I,
just
f- I, f- I feel nowadays people are more recipient towards original songs as well, because recently that Asa Kuda song got so famous on
yeah.
Instagram. That was a
Yeah.
completely Tamil song,
You do. You
and
can. People love Natu Natu. You don't need
yeah,
Nacho Nacho.
exactly, exactly.
Why? Yeah. So why do you? Why do you need to do this? This
That is,
dubbing people
I
should
feel
just
that is
stop.
a hangover. That is a hangover from the early 2000s, because early 2000s may every Tamil, every South Indian movie had like Hindi dubbed songs.
Yeah.
So, and it got famous as well because you have mass. इसकी पैंट भी मास, इसकी शर्ट भी मास,
Yeah.
mama mass. That is so. That is an iconic song. That movie is re-releasing, by the way, because of all the social media clout it's gotten now. That movie is re-releasing now. But see, that had
Maybe
its charm.
Anathu is the
I
only thing.
I'll tell you that that had its charm. That era is gone now. Like the
Yeah.
Hindi dubbed era, that has been trolled to death. You don't need that now, because now the audience have changed and the audience are much more receiving and they are much more accepting of regional songs as well. I mean,
They still won't look up the meaning sometimes, but again,
yeah, they don't. I mean,
they're
people
fine
don't
with it.
care, dude. People don't care about meanings as well, because if you think about it, even Hindi songs don't have meaning. So you don't think about the meanings and whatsoever. So like you could have easily kept the song as it is and it would have worked, because if you think about it, Kantara, if you saw the movie,
Hmm.
they kept the authentic, whenever they were talking about the, whenever in that particular trance godlike state, whatever dialogue that character is speaking, that character speaks in Kannada,
Hmm.
because
Because you
that was,
care about the film. You care about
and
the
they
art form.
and they consciously, the makers wanted to do that. Rest everything, when all the other characters are talking, they are talking in the dubbed Hindi version. But whenever that particular god character appears, he that character always talked in the native, the tribe's language, which I respect, because yes, that is how it's supposed to be. Because ultimately what you are doing through the dubbing is you are killing the authenticity and the culture of where you are talking about. I mean, if I'm that is ultimately, that's what I'm saying. It comes back to the anime dilemma: subs over dubs. People watch, so there are a lot of people who prefer dubs if done properly, but anime is a different medium. But still now, when I was a child, I used to watch dubbed anime, but then after I grew up, I used to watch subbed.
Yeah.
Used to prefer watching original anime with subtitles.
With
So that
subtitles.
is that is what I'm saying. Like when you watch a movie, you prefer watching the original language with subs. And see, okay, I understand if you don't want to watch the entire movie, you can dub the movie, the dialogues and everything. I can
Yeah.
accept that, but songs, keep them, yeah, keep them as it
Like
is.
think about like if Uantava had something else, it would not have been that popular. Like Uantava के जगह हिंदी में कुछ रख देता, it
I think there was a
sounds.
Hindi version.
I don't know.
There
I-
there
but
was.
that's a good thing. I have not heard of it. That's a good thing. कि
No,
अगर
but
है
वही है
भी
ना.
तो मैंने सुना नहीं है.
See, they have dubbed that song in Tamil, in Hindi, and Telugu, but the Telugu version was the most popular one.
Hmm.
So that is why it got famous. Ultimately, वही same चीज हुआ था नाटू नाटू के साथ भी. That नाटू नाटू got so famous, and you have like the other versions as well. There is a Tamil version of the song. There is a Hindi version of the song as well, Nacho Nacho. But Natu Natu is the one which got prominence and which won the Oscar as well. So if you think about it, that is a good thing. I feel that is a good thing, that audiences now are much more accepting of different cultures and different languages as well, which is a positive sign, and which is how I feel it should be. This is how
Yeah.
preserves traditions and preserves originality and keeps this with, like, it maintains spaces, a certain division between everything, while not allowing a certain uniform corruption to it. Because if you everything is standard, then you don't have anything. I mean, if I had to watch a Hindi movie, I would have watched a Hindi movie. Why would I need a completely like a South Indian dubbed version of a Hindi, completely changing the culture and trying to portray it like as a Hindi movie? Why? Keep your stay true to your culture, stay true to what you are showing.
This
That
goat is in my opinion a good movie to. So I have this rule about remakes. Only remake a movie if you think you can uh, do something better. Okay, in a way where there has to be a purpose outside of I can earn money,
yeah,
right? So you can do a lot of things that this film did wrong, and you can fix it if you can
yeah,
recognize what is wrong and
yeah.
re-release it with like Akshay Kumar or whatever, and it would still work. Akshay Kumar
Yeah,
young would
because
look very weird, but theek hai.
so I'll tell you something. Gajini did that.
Hmm.
So Gajini was originally a Tamil movie, and the same guy who made the Tamil version made it with Amir
Murgados.
Khan, Murugadas. And what Amir Khan did was he kind of improved the movie in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, the entire climax and the second half is completely different from the original one.
Okay.
Completely different, and it is actually with the character as well. It takes care of the character as well. We'll have a discussion, we'll watch,
Sure.
we'll do that.
Yeah.
And that is going to be very interesting discussion as well. And because because I was a Tamil, because I am a South Indian, so I used to watch the original movie. I watched Gajini. So first, for me, when by the time Amir Khan was remaking that movie, I had already
Yeah,
seen Gajini.
we can do a whole thing where we sort of compare remakes, where
Good
what is
remakes, good remakes where
good and bad.
bad remakes, there are a lot of bad examples. I mean,
I think
there
we
are
can
a lot
start
of.
with Sarfira. I think we can start with Sarfira next.
No, Sarfira is a bad example because
I have not
Sarfira,
seen the movie.
but it's a very bad example because it's a scene to scene remake. It's not a, it's
It's a
nobody,
scene to scene remake.
scene to scene remake. There's no there is no reason for that movie to exist. That is the problem, because everyone has seen the original movie, and people were like, why did you even bother making this movie? Because
Hmm.
no point. Because everyone during the lockdown watched the original version. Because Sarfira ka original version, Tamil version, it's called Surarai Potru, and it was released in
Yeah.
Hindi called with the name
Udan.
Udan. Yeah.
Udan.
So people watched it, and there is no reason for they only changed a couple of scenes. Basically, the meeting with APJ Abdul Kalam in the Tamil version, it happens in a different way. In the Hindi version, it happens in a very different way. That is the only change they did. Otherwise, everything else is same. Scene to scene,
It's a
everything is same.
pointless remake.
A pointless remake again. So if you want to compare remakes, that is what I'm saying. Like Gajini is a
Ghajini is
very
a.
good example. Gajini is a very good example, and there are
I
a
think
few
Drishyam
examples.
is a good example. My personal feeling, I've had a lot of arguments with people. I feel like there are. I think the pacing of the Malayalam version is slightly off compared to the one Ajay Devgan is doing. I think pacing, in terms of pacing, because it's a thriller. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
we can do
the
that. We
pacing
can
is perfect in that.
we can talk about Drishyam as well, because for me, I have only seen the Tamil version and Hindi version. I haven't seen the Malayalam version, so maybe I should. That will be a good thing. I think we can watch the Malayalam version, Drishyam 1 and 2 as well, because I haven't actually Drishyam 2. I haven't seen any version. Like I haven't seen the Tamil, no, the Malayalam or Hindi version at all. So yeah, so I'll watch. I think we can do that later. But yeah, like, coming back to Goat. So as you said, this is actually a very good movie to remake and improve upon, because there are a lot of potential. Uh, and the only improvement I would do is sorting out Gandhi's character, because Gandhi's
Yeah.
character is the biggest problem of this entire movie. That if you change his characterization, if you preserve his characterization in a better way, there would be a stronger conflict between these two, Jeevan and Gandhi.
Yes.
Just changing a little bit, just little bit, preserving the integrity of his character, because that is the problem with this movie. They completely ruined his characterization, and they shown him unintentionally in a very bad light. That dude, you are so incompetent, you can't. This that is why you don't you are not rooting for this character, and when in the end he's also succeeding, you don't get the feeling that you're succeeding. Because if you think about it, in Dark Knight, what happens? 90% of the movie, Batman is shown to be losing, but you see how competent he is as a character, that he is giving his all, he is doing everything which he can, and his character is preserved. That is why in the end, when finally he loses, the Joker loses to Batman, you feel, yes, okay, this is how, that statement, unstoppable force meets an immovable object. That Batman and Joker, both of them are worthy of this particular title. You feel that. But in this movie, when they say, oh, he is the greatest of all time, you never feel that. He's not. He's not goat. He's
Most
not.
incompetent of all time is the word.
Exactly. He's so
Okay,
incompetent.
now that we brought Batman into this,
Yeah.
I want to talk about uh, a problem that exists in the latest Batman, Matt Reeves' ka Batman with Riddler. and I'm going to compare him to Jeevan of sorts.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Comparable characters. Yeah.
okay. Now I have a problem with, so they did the villain characterization perfectly. They gave us motivations and everything. Okay,
Yeah.
now you have sold, you have sort of sold that Menon is uh, like a purely evil character with no backstory or anything. It's just his family dies, but you don't know
Yeah.
his motivation. You just see that, oh, he's just evil. He wants the destruction of something. Okay, Menon choosing to be at the stadium and with the bomb and the detonator would have made more sense than Jeevan doing it. Okay,
Exactly.
you want Jeevan, but that's the problem. You have written the ending scene कि वो roof पे वो लोग fight करते हैं. Okay,
Yeah.
and now you're
Yeah.
just building up to it.
You have to build it up. You have to build it up.
It's completely pointless because Jeevan has no motivation to blow up a stadium.
Yeah.
Menon has trained him, but we have not seen it. Even if he does have a motivation, that motivation comes from something fake. So I don't even want to see it.
And also it's like Menon is telling the, when during that gloating scene in that abandoned factory, which happens during the end, right at the end, where he's gloating to, he tells him that, I only wanted to take revenge. That whole blowing up the stadium is all
Yeah.
Jeevan. Like, dude, what?
Why?
Why?
Why does he want? It's like the Riddler, where Riddler is like, मेरा तो कोई और plan था. I'm like, भाई तू, I thought you were nice. You were killing
हाँ,
crooked people and politicians, bad, corrupt politicians. अब तू क्या लोगों को मारने पे आ गया है? क्या है तेरी ideology? मुझे जरा बता.
why
जीवन
not?
भी I don't understand.
Why not? It's like, what? Why did you? That is the problem. Like the end sequence, that they set it up in the Chepauk Stadium just because they wanted to have the Dhoni reference.
Yes,
And
yes.
also, okay, another context. I'll give you another context. Context time once more.
Hmm.
Venkat Prabhu's first movie is a cricket-based film.
Okay.
It is one of the biggest, like, that is the movie which kind of put him on the map. That movie is called Chennai 6 lakh 28. That is the movie's name. If you google this, it is a cricket based movie, completely cricket based movie, and it revolves around these, but and you see a lot of these faces which you see, in this, the guys I was talking about, the two guys, they are in this movie, in that movie as well. And especially Premji, his younger brother. So that whole movie is about a bunch of gully cricket playing groups, and how they want to become cricketers, or they want to play for India or something like this. That was the story which came out back. This movie released, I think, back in 2005 or so, something like that. And that movie was a big hit, and it was actually a good movie. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It is actually a good movie. You can watch that film. So that is why cricket is one of the, like, that is the reason why Venkat Prabhu also uh, said that film, he had a lot of cricket related themes as well, because he has, that is the context, that of course he
Okay.
wanted to include Chepok, because first of all CSK, second of all he wanted to have the Dhoni thing,
Dhoni, Dhoni.
Dhoni, the third, he also has the personal connection with cricket. So this is the trifecta, context time, again another context. So why there was no reason for that moment to happen, other than the fact that they wanted to have this fight scene in the rooftop with stakes. That, oh, there is a bomb, and just for the stakes, they wanted to introduce that detonator and have this particular fight happening between these two, and to include Jivita somehow in the conflict as well. Because why would she
Yeah.
be here? That, she, as a character, she serves no purpose
I
there.
one of the things that took me by surprise, like ये बंदी श्रीनिधि इतने साल सिंगल रही. It's like how convenient. Okay,
हाँ,
आते ही they are in a relationship. Okay, the
और
father also, like, okay, as a father I want a scene. I not as a father, but like as a father, Gandhi does not even ask him कि भाई तू रशिया कैसे पहुंचा, गैंग में
हाँ,
कैसे घुसा.
वही
Okay,
तो
explain to me क्या चल रहा है भाई, तू वहां थाईलैंड से यहाँ कैसे आया, क्या हुआ तेरे
वही
साथ,
तो
मैं तो तेरी
मैं
बॉडी
वही
थी.
कह रहा हूँ ना
Just skip
भाई.
over everything.
That is Again, incompetency. Dude, you are an agent. You are an agent, bhai.
I'll
Like,
tell you. I'll tell you a good example of competency. Okay, that shows that you are an agent. Okay, I revisited Taken just to draw comparisons of a good agent. Okay,
yeah,
now you have seen Agent Taken, right? I
yeah,
think
याद
so
है,
many,
टेकन तो
most people have, right? Most people
टेकन
who
तो
are
याद है,
watching.
पहली वाली टेकन अच्छी तरह याद है.
Yes, yes. So think about Liam Neeson's character. Okay, something Mills, Kyle Mills, something his name is. Okay,
I don't
so
remember the name, but yeah.
yeah, so um, when his character is introduced, it is introduced through showing that he loves his daughter. He's
Yeah,
he's saving money up to buy something for the daughter. The
yeah,
daughter has no care about uh,
the father.
the father, but he still cares about her. The daughter lies to him about her trip. Okay, he still cares about her. He's like, fine, तू जो भी मुझे झूठ बोल धोखा दे जो करना है, I love you, I want to take care of you, I want to protect you. Then when she actually does get kidnapped, okay, but after so many warning signs, right, where he's like नहीं जाने देना है, नहीं जाने देना है, कुछ भी हो सकता है, लोग को नहीं पता है. Okay, he does not come and gloat about it. देखा मैंने बोला था ना. He's like, मेरे को प्लेन चाहिए, ठीक है,
हाँ.
फटाफट निकलो. He is not wasting any time. That is a competent agent where he
And
is wasting
also,
zero
if
time.
you think about it, wasting zero time, yes, that is another thing. And for the abduction scene itself, like the daughter is calling the
Yes.
father, and the father on the phone, he knows that he is completely helpless, but he is still maintaining his cool, and he
Yeah.
knows that his daughter is pretty much going to be kidnapped. He cannot do anything and in that moment, but the only thing which he does is give out a warning to that particular abductor that, okay, right now you win this round, but I am going to mess you up.
Yeah.
That is the thing. That is what a
So
good
that's how you show
competent.
competence. It's not very difficult to write this. Okay.
And also, since you bring up Taken, I'll tell you that this movie could have taken that route, because you already have a daughter and you are showing Gandhi to be an old, seasoned kind of a retired character. You could have involved Jeevita's character in the conflict by having Menon written
And
and
have that as the end instead of whatever you
yeah, and
had the cricket match.
you could have had Menon come back to their life after so many years and start targeting Gandhi's family for revenge, and then in the interval point have Jeevan get revealed as, that, okay, this is, I've trained your son, and this that could have been the interval point, that, okay, that Menon is targeting Gandhi's family and Gandhi's daughter, because ultimately Menon also lost his son and daughter.
Hmm.
So he wants to target this family, Gandhi's family, and the first half is dedicated to Gandhi protecting his daughter. And you could have had the same dynamic with the daughter as well. That, Gandhi has been an absentee father. That is why the daughter doesn't care about Gandhi, but because there is a something like he wants to reconnect with his family again, and that's how you could have set it up. And you could have shown him that Gandhi, why was he an absent father? Because he was dedicating his life to taking revenge from all the abducted. You could have set his character up like that. That after that horrible incident, he was hunting child traffickers completely, like
Yeah.
child abductors, all these years, which is why he became a neglected father. And then after all these years, his battles have been over. He came back. Now he's trying to reconnect, but he's not able to reconnect with his family. And in this time, the villain comes back, and now it's like he is now targeting this family. And in the interval point, you are showing Gandhi, that this son is alive, but he's now completely brainwashed. So that would be a cathartic moment for Gandhi as well, that, dude, I dedicated my life in taking revenge for
Yeah.
this son who I did not even realize that he
Hmm.
was alive. And then that could have been an effective
There's
plot.
a much more of a gut punch when you find out that Jeevan is the villain.
And that is how you characterize Gandhi as well. And
Yes. Yes.
at the same time, and you could keep the second half exactly the same.
His Hindi remake should be this. This is
Yeah.
make the Hindi, please.
No, मैं बता रहा हूँ क्या होने वाला है
Now
कि
that we talk about it, like I also found a way to very easily fix the abduction scene. Okay, you make Gandhi take the sun, okay, but somehow the bag or Spider-Man ka figurine gets left. Okay, so the son runs away while he's filling up the form, and he's not attentive. Okay,
Yeah.
and then he's just abducted. Simple, fixed.
Very simple. Very simple. And also, I'll tell you, like I was just because I was watching a lot of YouTube videos, and for some reason, today I watched that Jabi Koe's reaction to Chandni Chowk to China. For some reason, I don't know why. I was
Hmm.
bored,
Hmm.
so I watched
Hmm.
that movie, and literally there is. If you remember, have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember that movie to some extent? I mean, you must know a little bit what happens. You don't know.
I know
Yeah.
some.
So I'll tell you. There is this character. Deepika has a twin, right?
Hmm.
Deepika Padukone has a twin, and then their father is a police officer,
Hmm.
and the main antagonist is taking revenge from his father. And basically, that entire scene is what happens to Gandhi as well, kind of technically. In
Sort
the
of, yeah.
Thailand, in what happens is in the Great Wall of China, he's with his family and he's with his two daughters. And what happens is at that moment he gets attacked by the goons, and he has to protect his child as well as he has to protect his family, but he has to defend himself as well. The same kind of situation which Gandhi is also put, and that action sequence happens where he has the baby and he's doing martial arts with the baby. And what happens is during that fight, that particular what happens is he's throwing the baby in to dodge punches and kicks, but what happens is he's just throwing the baby, and one of the villains goons catches the baby
Catches
and
the.
abducts and goes away.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then that child grows up in captivity and is trained by the villain, the same thing which
Same thing.
happens to
Same thing.
Sridhar as well. So that is much more effective in a horrible movie like Chandni Chowk to China. That
They did
scene
this better than
exactly.
Goat.
That is what I'm saying, that this is and over, and that integrity of the character is maintained, that he's a police guy, he's a competent fighter.
He's the
So the
strongest
same,
character in the film. So,
yeah, and the same way Gandhi's character is also poised, that he's also a competent fighter and he's also an agent and he could have easily protected himself. But that is how you write, right? That the despite all these skills, despite all your abilities, you can still you can still lose something. But the way they structured the abduction was very flimsy, to the detriment of Gandhi's character. That is the main problem which you have. And again, the way you say the time skip happens, and you see that the life which they are leading is very ordinary, because I never get a sense. Okay, this happens, this is a criticism with all the characters I have, that none of them feel like agents, none of them. None. Prabhudeva, take
they
Prabhudeva,
feel like
take
they've
that.
started the agency themselves.
Exactly. I mean, you don't get a sense that apart from the very first scene, you don't have any other mission in the movie where they work as a team.
Yeah.
These people, no mission, and the only mission where these three are working together are to find out Srinidhi's character when she gets abducted, and even then they are shown to be so incompetent again.
Yeah.
They seem like regular people. They seem like, this is the problem, that all these people feel like regular people. They don't give out the fact that they are agents. We don't get a sense that they are even police officers. They don't even feel like police officers. They feel like government they feel like normal government operatives, like as in people who are working on banks or something like that. They feel like that सरकारी कर्मचारी लग रहे हैं मेरे को ये. That is the impression which I am getting from everyone, all of these people, that they don't react like, if you think about it, the main leader of this SATS group, who basically,
Horrible name, horrible abbreviation, by the way. Nobody
SATS.
thought, nobody thought कि नहीं ये थोड़ा इधर कोई ले सकता है डबल मीनिंग चेंज कर लो
अरे
यार कुछ
मतलब
और
मैं तो
नाम रख
कहता
लो.
हूँ, वो कह रहे थे कि दे से दैट इट्स अ रॉ का डिवीजन है. मैं तो कहता हूँ एटीयू रख देते, एंटी टेररिस्ट, एटीएस कुछ भी रख देते, बिकॉज एटीएस इज अ वेरी कॉमन नेम. एटीएस, सैट्स क्या है, सैट्स.
the wife is like सैट्स में हो तुम, like तेरे को कैसे पता नाम, ये मैं तो कभी सुना भी नहीं है.
नहीं
It's
वो तो
apparently
बता
इनके वर्ल्ड में there is.
नहीं वो तो उसने बताया था ना.
Okay.
Wo in that scene he tells her that joke which happens. Do you remember when he tells her that I'm an agent in
I'm
SATs and
in
she
in
throws
sats, yeah.
the remote? She's like, you're lying again. That is a good joke. Actually, it's a very good joke. It works. But that is where she learns the name SATs because he tells her that name SATs. But actually, I feel SATs is supposed to be like it is an वही है ना. इट इज फ्लिप्ड नेम फॉर एटीएस. शायद एटीएस की जगह दे वेंट विद सैट्स. पता नहीं. एटीएस रख देते यार. एटीएस वुड हैव बीन मच बेटर. एंटी टेररिस्ट स्क्वाड करके रख देते. चलो वो अलग बात है. सो व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज नन ऑफ दीस पीपल
One of the
फील
things
लाइक.
that as an agent he could have done, sorry,
या
is when, and again this is key, when your son is back.
बैकग्राउंड चेक.
mm, yes, no, not background check, put an eye on him. Okay,
हाँ.
have somebody protect him so that he doesn't
एग्जैक्टली.
do something that is not expected, because you don't know who he is right now.
Also another thing is, like one of another dumb thing which shows Gandhi's incompetence is this guy attacks a consulate in Russia. So he's part of a gang. And where Gandhi is gone, he's basically instructed to be there to protect all the diplomats and all the people who are there to make sure the situation doesn't get out of hand. And you see that in the confrontation, people are attacking the consulate, and he's part of a gang. So, and until that time he gets unmasked and sees his son, he's a criminal. So he's fighting a criminal. So ultimately, just because you are he's found out to be Jeevan, how can you completely forget the fact that he was part of a gang and barging into a
Yeah,
consulate? Imagine the kind of life he has led and what other things which he had to do. You never question that as a as an agent. You should have questioned that, and not just Gandhi, everyone else should have questioned that. And basically it is shown that the leader, Nasir, that is the name, the
Nasir,
leader of.
yeah.
So he is the one who finds out the truth, and then he comes back, and then he calls.
It's
That
the
was very
horrible trope is that कि
horrible.
मैं तुमको फोन पे नहीं बता सकता, मेरे को मिलो. नहीं, तू
but
मर गया.
but okay, फोन पे गांधी को नहीं बता सकता, बट प्रभुदेवा को सब बता देता है वो. Literally,
It's,
the
yeah, it's very
conversation when
convenient, very
it's revealed
convenient.
later, you are seeing that that guy is having a conversation with Prabhu Deva's character, and he's telling them that I have collected so many proof and it's in my phone. अरे भोसड़ी के ये क्यों बोल रहा है तू? Okay, वापस कि like if you can't tell but that you can tell that to Kalyan, Prabhudeva's character, but you can't tell that to Gandhi that I have collected some data, it's in my phone, but I need to have a word with you. वो तो बता देता कम से कम.
Hmm.
But just
Hmm.
because, see, that is the thing with dumb writing. This is how, when you write for a particular plot advancement, you sacrifice character, and you sacrifice common sense, that a person with average intelligence won't behave the way this guy, the people who are supposed to be agents, competent
Hmm.
agents, are behaving. That is the main problem which this movie has, and that is the main problem which the characterization of all the so-called protagonists,
Yeah.
everyone with the protagonists, this is the this is the problem, the way they are written. And when you compare that to the antagonists are far more competent.
Menon is far more competent.
Menon is far more competent, and everyone, Menon, Jeevan, and then the group he's working with, all of them are competent. That is what I'm saying. So yeah, nobody questions Jeevan that okay, he was part of a gang. No, he's not put under observation. He's not put in the fact that you don't even like check that okay. Uh, I mean, ultimately, what happens is any parent whose child is brought back after so many years, they are not going to let him out of their sight.
Hmm.
And this guy is a bloody agent. Even though he's retired, he still knows people who are active agents. They could have easily kept him under monitor, kept him under observation or so, but they don't do that. And ultimately, okay, forget about observation, bloody bag. At least have some because you know he's been part of a gang, so you should have investigated. And you he never you. I mean, I don't know if it happens off screen or not. He never asks his son the kind of life he led,
Yeah.
that where what happened. And he never, because for him the son was dead, he was carrying the dead remains of his burnt body. So he never asked the son how did he survive.
Yeah.
That is the problem, that I mean, you could
It's a
question
bad
him.
agent. It's a bad agent. It's
He's a
as simple
bad,
as
I
that.
mean, agent, and yeah, badly written agent, badly
Very
written
badly
agent.
written.
That it, I blame the writer for this. That this is why this thing, this doesn't work. And I tell you, this is the problem when it comes to crafting something where you have already decided that these are the things that need to happen. And this is how it was written. This movie, that okay, I need to have these moments that need to happen, so we are going to build everything towards it, and we are going to sacrifice the characters to have this particular thing sequence of events happen. That is the thing. So yeah, that is another thing. And okay, I think we are pretty much covered what
Yeah, we've
happens in
covered
this.
everything.
Yeah, and then okay, now there are a few more things which I have to provide you context for. A couple more
Yeah.
things which will help you understand that okay. So first, let's talk about the interval sequence where the whole fight which happens in the metro. Right before the
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
metro, you have
Hmm.
a scene where Gandhi is sitting inside a car, and he's drinking with that
Yeah.
guy, Premji. So that is a reference to uh, the movie which I was talking to you about, Mangata, yesterday. So that
Hmm.
is a reference because there is a scene in Mangata where Ajit, the character, the main actor, he is with Premji, and they are both sitting inside a car and they are getting drunk. They are getting sloshed. So that is a very famous scene. Very famous scene. So just because Vijay and Ajit are, like they are the two competitors, like contemporary competitors. So just because they had a sequence in the car of them drinking, Venkat Prabhu deliberately had the same scene inside the car with Premji. There was no other reason. There was no other
Yeah, the scene
reason.
accomplishes nothing.
I mean, the only thing it sets up is that Vijay is getting drunk, and then he's basically celebrating the fact that his son has come back, and
Sun is back. Yeah.
he's just talking that the guy who took everything from my life came back and gave it to me. So that is the only dialogue which he says, and it kind of, it is a foreshadowing to set up the fact that the guy who came back is a villain. But that scene, otherwise it serves no purpose at all. It is a that contextual scene, that those who have watched the earlier films, for them it is an easter egg kind of a scene. That is the only reason they had that. Plus another fact that they just needed to show Vijay to be drunk, so that during the metro fight sequence he's a little drunk as well. So that is one thing which they had to set up, but you could have easily set it up in another space. So you did
Yeah.
not need to have that there, and you could have given that information in a very different kind of a way, very different kind of a way. So that one scene before the interval that happens. And then now coming to uh, the whole metro fight, what happens. So there is a reference, another reference to how Gandhi's character enters the metro
Hmm.
when the fight basically happens. So first you see Nasir getting chased by the younger guy, and then he's getting completely chased across the city, and you see that horrible VFX which happens, that he's बाइक के साथ ट्रैक में चले गए एंड देन इमीडिएटली रैंप के साथ ट्रेन में चले गए. मेट्रो,
Bullet train.
वो ना, वो भी मतलब मेट्रो ट्रेन है भाई, वो मेट्रो
No,
ट्रेन
no,
है
no. I'm
ऐसे.
referring like bullet train में ऐसा sequence है एक शायद.
हाँ वो ठीक है, बट वही मैं कह रहा हूँ, दैट वाज वन ऑफ द स्टूपिडेस्ट स्टंट्स एवर. ओके. And again, the fact that Gandhi hears in his phone speaker that a metro station का announcement उसको सुनाई दिया कि this is moving towards the airport. But dude, moving towards the airport, I mean, I have lived in Chennai and I have traveled through the metro. Towards the airport मतलब बीच में इतने सारे स्टेशन है, तेरे को कैसे पता कौन से स्टेशन में है वो?
That's fine. It's a plot hole.
So okay, that is one of the biggest plot holes, and then he is appearing like एक स्टेशन में रुका तो उस स्टेशन में वो आ गया. So that is actually a reference to one of Vijay's older movies. Basically, you've seen Wanted, right? Salman Khan की
Yeah,
Wanted.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So उसका जो तमिल version था original, that was done by Vijay, and there is a sequence that happens in the train, similar sequence जिसमें
Yeah.
क्या होता है कि वो आता
Wanted
है
में भी है.
हेलमेट. हाँ, वांटेड मूवी है वो सीन टू सीन सेम रीमेक मूवी है. तो उसमें ऐसे ही होता है कि वो दैट इज वन ऑफ द आइकॉनिक मूवीज ऑफ विजय, वेरी वेरी आइकॉनिक मूवीज ऑफ विजय. तो उसमें ऐसे ही होता है ना कि बेसिकली देर इज उसमें क्या होता है, इट इज बेटर एग्जीक्यूटेड. उसमें क्या होता है कि लोकल ट्रेन है और उसमें जो उसका भाई का छोटा भाई का कैरेक्टर होता है उसने फोन ऑन कर दिया होता है एंड ही इज पासिंग द इंफॉर्मेशन दैट द
Yeah.
स्टेशन इस स्टेशन में आने वाला है, इस स्टेशन में आने वाला है. एंड उसमें वी सी दैट ही इज रनिंग 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 एंड देन फाइनली ही एंटर्स एंड द ट्रेन हैपेंस. तो वही सेम मोमेंट को दे रिक्रिएटेड इन दिस मेट्रो और उसमें वो उसी तरीके से ही इज आल्सो पोजिंग एंड डूइंग ऑल दैट. सो इट इज अनदर रेफरेंस टू हिज ओल्डर मूवी. सो वो मेट्रो वाला. एंड देन द होल फाइट हैपेंस एंड immediately you see the helmet. अगर हेलमेट पहन के जो लड़ाई कर रहा है, you immediately know that is younger Vijay. Immediately
Yeah.
there is no requirement
No,
for that
actually,
whole.
I didn't know because I'd not seen the trailer. I only guessed. It's an
Okay.
easy
No,
guess
but
to make.
it is a very easy guess. You could have easily guessed because how he's portrayed, right? Because ultimately, if you think about it, you don't see any other villain till then. Till then, you don't have any other antagonist till then,
Yeah.
and how he's also fighting. In that fight, the villain is winning. So with all that fanfare and all, of course, you're going to give the reveal that he's the younger Vijay. So वो तो I saw it coming miles away. So that is
Hmm.
one moment. But I actually like the interval, how they set it up. Like after the fight happens, he goes down and then he blends himself in among the sea of crowd, and then you have Talapathy versus Ilaya Talapathy. So that is, I feel, it's a very good halfway midpoint. That okay, maybe the second half could salvage this movie down the line, and maybe I felt that okay, but they kind of disappointed because
No, it's
the
still like
problem is
yeah.
again it comes
We are
back to
picking the movie apart where we are saying the main character is the biggest problem. That
that
they've
is the
messed up the
problem.
main character, but it's still really enjoyable. So
Yeah.
it says so much that you could easily fix the main character and make this
Yeah.
movie even more enjoyable.
If they had fixed the main character's characterization, this would have been much more enjoyable
Yeah.
because they completely nailed the villain. That is the thing. They nailed the villain. We are with him with his motivations, and we also accept his craziness because he is irredeemable, and we know why he is irredeemable because we see that
Hmm.
episode, that small episode with that abduction, that child trafficking scene, that montage, that is so effective that ultimately whoever saves that child from that hell is going to be that child is going to be loyal to that person for the rest of his life. Completely you are with the character. That is completely understandable. So I am with the character. But the problem again that comes is in the second half. What happens? One by one, everyone is getting picked off from Gandhi's team, and Gandhi is shown to become again incompetent. He's not able to do anything till the last moment. I mean, literally, if and yeah. Now coming back to that moment where he basically slices Srinidhi's throat. I did not expect the movie to go there. I was not expecting the movie to go there because, yes, I know the actress who got hired she basically got hired for one song.
Yeah.
So I did not expect that, okay, they are going to go there. And, that is the point where I realized that, okay, this character is irredeemable. There is no coming back for him. That, okay, this character is going to, his fate was sealed. When as
Yeah.
soon as he sliced Srinidhi's neck, I know that okay, this character is going to be perished by
I
the
mean, he
end
was
of
a
this.
clone, right? Like, we'll talk about it afterwards, but
That was the, okay. Forget
it's still
about the
redeemable.
clone. Forget about the clone. If you don't see that scene, that is the moment where the movie surprises you and where the movie shows potential, because a conventional movie will never take that step, especially with a star like Vijay.
Yeah, he would have hurt her, but she could have been saved. She would have
She
been
would have,
saved in like a
yeah,
regular film.
they would have never done that in a, they could have never, and so that surprised me, which is why I'm so disappointed with the fact that if they could take the, if they had the consent of the actor to go towards, like, go to this kind of space when it came to the negative character, why didn't you do something equally good with the positive character? Dude, you could
Yeah.
have done the same, because the actor was game, he was cooperative with you, he was literally not caring about his image and all. And again, another contextual fact, during his earlier days, when Vijay's career was still blooming, he did a couple of movies exactly like this with Jeevan's kind of characterization, the psychopath. So basically, he did a movie just like Dar, which Shah Rukh Khan did during his earlier days. So he was kind of, Vijay was playing a little bit of a psychotic kind of a character who was kind of very irredeemable. So that was another contextual reference and a callback to his earlier performance, and kind of another tribute to Vijay's earlier younger days, because the young Vijay is also playing that kind of a character, so they gave him that treatment once more, that kind of a send off again. So which I feel that okay, that was nice. I never expected that movie to go there. And coming back to how she survives, and then the why. Okay, now I'll tell you the why she survived, because they had to set up Prabhudeva as a double crosser. And the reason why Prabhudeva, I'll tell you why Prabhudeva was set up to be a double crosser. Just so Sunil, the character, that Srinidhi's father, he has something to do. Because
Hmm.
I'll tell you now another context. So that actor, Prabhudeva, and
Yeah.
Vijay to some extent. The third guy, his name is Prashant. So when Vijay entered cinema in '92, Prashant was actually a big star, a bigger star. Prashant is actually Vijay's senior, and he was a compared to Vijay at that time, he was a much bigger star, and he was during the '90s. He was actually poised to be very popular. And he worked with a lot of directors. He worked with Shankar. He did a movie called Jeans where he played a double role, and it was during the '90s, and it was technically brilliant films where the dual roles were shot in a very good way. And
Hmm.
he was the only actor to work with Aishwarya Rai as well. So Aishwarya Rai did a couple of Tamil movies. So Prashant was actually poised to be the next big thing. But his career kind of took a downfall in the early 2000s, and Vijay and all these actors took over. So now this is kind of how he's coming back. So Prashant is
Okay.
so that guy. So imagine like Prabhu Deva was also a big hero during the '90s. He was also an actor. And then he became a director, and then he became something else. But he was also a big actor during that time. So if you think about it, Prashant, Vijay, and Prabhudeva coming together is the same, has the same impact as um, Saif Ali Khan, Akshay Kumar, and Shah Rukh Khan doing a movie together. So where you have Prabhudeva's role done by Saif Ali Khan,
Hmm.
Akshay Kumar's role done by this Prashant, and then Shah Rukh Khan is Vijay. So that is the thing. And Prashant basically needed a hero moment, so that is why they had to set up Prabhudeva as the villain, so that he
They
gets
have the fight scene.
that fight scene. That is why Prabhudeva is double crossing, and he's the one who delivers the final, who suffocates Srinidhi and sets up that whole fight. That is the only reason they did that. And as you said, you did not expect Prabhudeva to,
No,
Prabhudeva's
no.
character to take that turn, which also comes very suddenly. Because, but ultimately, the problem again is that you don't have any sense of any of these characters, any of these guys. You don't know these people. You don't know these people individually. You have no idea who these people are. They just slot into the plot, and they are just told that okay, they are agents, that's it. Otherwise there is no particular role to these people. And when it comes that okay, this guy is double crossing, you are like okay, fine, it has literally no impact. It has no
No,
impact.
it
Okay,
did come as a shock to me to
it
an
was a
extent,
shock, it was a
but
shock. But
yeah,
a good double cross will hit you personally as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There is some
That
emotion
yeah, some emotion. So you don't
involved.
get a
Yeah.
sense of that emotion with Prabhudeva's character as well. But okay, so they had to set up that moment. Okay, and now let's come back to the climax. This is the last discussion, and this is where the movie kind of goes for me. Breaks down for me. This is that entire climax sequence is where things go so terribly wrong, so terribly wrong, that I feel that okay, there is no saving this movie, and I don't know why. Okay, fine, I'll just accept it for what it was. 80% of it I had fun, but they went with this climax. Fine, you have like a stadium, okay, and then uh, coming back to Menon's character, where Vijay basically uh, traps him in the toilet with that random guy. Now, I'll tell you who that random guy is. He
Hmm.
is kind of one of an upcoming actor in Tamil cinema, and he is poised to be the next in line after Vijay.
Okay.
So that particular scene was said to be a passing of the torch kind of moment. That what happens, his name is Shiva Karthikeyan, and he's an actor, and he kind of what he's an outsider basically. So he used to do a lot of anchoring on TV. He used to host a lot of shows, and then gradually he got a film offer, and then through talent he grew, and now he's a good he's a reasonably big star. I mean, not a very big star, but still he's a growing star. But in this scene, what happens is Vijay Gandhi. What he does, he takes out the gun and he hands it over to him. That okay, hold this,
Hmm. Hmm,
take
hmm.
care of this. So that is basically the passing of the torch, a meta
Okay.
reference. And then that character gives a dialogue. If you remember what he says, just wait a minute, I think you have something more important to do. I'll take care of this, you take care of that. So that is a veiled comment to the fact that Vijay is quitting cinema and he is going to go to politics, and now his place is going to be taken over by this guy. So that is the reference. So this is a contextual reference.
And then you could have killed Gandhi. That would have been easier, right?
Yeah, but okay. I mean, that is something else, right? That is like no, no, no. Gandhi has to survive because he has an important. That is what I'm saying. That scene does not work for me. That cameo does not work for me because you could okay, fine. He did that passing of the torch scene, but you can't do that with the main villain, dude. Menon. That Menon character is so important, and literally you are leaving it with some actor. There is, I mean, narratively,
Incompetency again.
again incompetency. If you think about it, that narratively within the context of the story, forget about the real life connotations and the meta references to what that scene actually means. That is a passing of the torch scene, which is kind of a high for all the fans who expect okay this, but that doesn't make sense when it comes to this particular story, this particular narrative. That why, I mean, dude, that is the main. Imagine, think about it. Like if Thanos gets captured and literally Thanos को जाके टॉयलेट में डाल दिया, and you leave it with some random, you leave it with if think about Robert Downey Jr. Meets Captain Marvel, एंड कैप्टन मार्वल को ऐसे उसको बोल दिया, थैनोस को ऐसे वहां पे रख दिया, बोला कि यू टेक केयर ऑफ हिम एंड देन आई एम गोइंग टू गो समवेयर. That is the same kind of moment this was. So dumb,
Hmm.
so dumb. That dude, that is the main antagonist, and you never reveal what happens.
Yeah. He's not a
So
main
that
antagonist, but he's like behind everything.
he's behind everything, right? So you need to give some resolution. How can you leave that hanging? I mean, dude, that's bad writing. So that is one of the worst.
A simple sorry would have sufficed. Ki sorry, I didn't know your family was on that train.
Ah,
You have a short dialogue. We're done.
exactly. I
Already the
mean,
movie is very long.
exactly, very long, but okay, fine. If you are having fun, the length won't be noticeable. And
Yeah.
I was having fun, so it's fine. I understand that, okay, there are a lot of things when they could have improved a lot of things, but that's what I'm saying. You can't have that moment, that cameo with with such a crucial character. I mean, you could have done that with someone else, or you could have had that moment earlier with some other. You could have had that. You could. Why you did not need a, you did not need that cameo at all. At all. You did not need that cameo at all. That was a very bad way to wrap things up. And I feel why, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like it goes beyond the movie and it makes no sense at all. And for
But it's
non
a
for
recurring theme, na.
for
It's
a
just the
for a
cameos have hand
casual for a
fisted.
casual viewer like you, it doesn't make sense at all. Like, dude, what is this, what is happening? I mean,
Yeah.
imagine kya hote hain? That is where it falls apart. And then of course, uh, yes, there is once, like when Gandhi tries to talk his son out of killing Jivita. He's talking about, dude, you wanted, you when you were young, you were talking about having a sister. You are now prepared to kill her, and then Jeevan is like, क्या है boomer है क्या, cringe मत कर मेरे
Oh
को.
god.
So that was a funny dialogue. I believe, I agree, that was a funny dialogue because in every Vijay movie, what happens is he always does this. In every, it's a trope for Vijay that in the climax, the character which is being portrayed by Vijay always lectures the main villain, and what happens is either the villain turns good or changes his ways in some way. This is a trope which he gets trolled for. So
Okay.
it is a funny way to have the younger Vijay troll the older Vijay for doing that. And then once more again, what basically he tells Jivita to go, to headbutt Jeevan. So there's again another reference, another meta reference. So he asks her, whose fan are you?
Hmm.
And she tells Tala. So basically,
It's
Tala
Dhoni.
means no, no, that's not
No, no,
Dhoni.
they call Dhoni Tala.
I know, but originally the actor, the rival I was talking to
Hmm,
you
hmm,
about,
hmm.
his name is Tala. Like his
Okay.
moniker is Tala. So it always used to be like Tala versus Talapathy. Tala means head, and Talapathy is chief, commander in chief. So it, before Dhoni used to be called Tala. Tala is a name associated with Ajit. And if you watch that scene again, the theme of Mangata plays, it plays
Oh.
when that happens. So that is so it is actually a very clever piece of writing, because for everyone else, people will associate Thala with Dhoni,
Hmm.
but for everyone watching in Tamil cinema, they know that, okay, that Tala, it means Ajit, because they play that theme as well simultaneously. So it works for me. That moment, actually, it is something which, okay, people understand, because for you it is Dhoni, but for others it's like that. But that is primarily, that was the intention, that you Vijay actually having that reference in, having his reference in this movie is something which was something which is some, kind of again another contextual high moment for the fans, again once more. That is again once more the thing. But yeah, now let's come to the final post credit scene.
Yeah. Before wrapping up this, we need to talk about.
Yeah, because I think a completely unnecessary and completely redundant and completely stupid scene. Stupid. I would. That is what I'm going to say. It was a it was a dumb scene, dumb, very
Hmm.
dumb scene, very dumb scene, very dumb. So what do you think about that scene? I have one thought about that scene on why they did that. Apart from the fact that they were setting up a sequel, forget the sequel. I have one more thing which I feel that why they did that scene. But what are your thoughts about that scene?
I I felt betrayed.
Yeah,
Okay, because you've set up a really good villain.
yeah,
That was the only redeeming thing about your film. That
yeah.
was what your made your that was what made your film work, and then you destroyed.
To
So
destroy
any
that.
upcoming movie now suddenly I'm not very interested in.
Yeah, of course. And okay, so same thoughts. I had the same thoughts. Me and Vishnu, we were literally, we had already climbed down, and then that scene happens, and we were watching. We were like, what? Why would you do that? I'll give you that the why I feel that scene. Apart from the fact that they're setting up a sequel, I feel it was the makers kind of backtracking backtracking the irredeemable qualities of Jeevan.
Maybe,
Like
yeah.
that, they did not want hardcore fans to feel that, oh, you can't show our star in such a negative light. So in order to console those people, they set up that, okay, he was a clone. So that is why he was such a bad character, which I feel is so stupid, man. Why? I mean,
Yeah.
people are with you. You did not need to have that scene. You did not, I mean, forget about setting up a sequel. That scene is so stupid. So stupid. That is you that your movie, either if you were going the sci-fi angle, you should have taken that road from the beginning itself. You
Yeah.
can't you can't randomly throw this dumb thing right at the end. So the example is Dark Knight. So Dark Knight does not have any of these kind of science fiction elements. It kind of stays relatively in the real world. Dark Knight. If you think about
Hmm.
Dark Knight, I'm not talking about the Nolan universe, because the Nolan universe takes a little bit of leaps when you think about it. Scarecrow and the League of Shadows, ninjas, and all that. It takes a little bit of theme, but the movie Dark Knight, that movie does not have any space for any of those kinds of tropes. Like you could not have the Scarecrow gas or that entire League of Shadows angle in Dark Knight. You could not have that. That movie would have completely derailed. That is what happens in this. Like you set up a movie and then you show that, okay, it's kind of a psychological thriller kind of a genre which they were going for. I mean, that is the kind of very realistic movie. Then you suddenly come up with this science fiction angle. That, come on, man, you are stretching your rules, you are stretching your complete, you are breaking the illusion. That completely breaks the illusion and breaks the goodwill which you kind of earned with this movie. That's what I felt. That scene and the reviews which people are giving, this is what they were also saying, that why did you even have that scene, why did you even have that scene?
Yeah.
That was so
It's a
so
very basic rule. I don't remember exactly the name of the guy who wrote one of the very like basic Bibles of screenwriting. It's like if your movie is bad, if everything that you've done is bad, but if you if your audience likes the ending of the film, if the ending works, they go home with like a positive thought
yeah,
about
yeah,
your film, and then your purpose is fulfilled.
yeah.
Make and this film does the opposite, where you've done so much hard work, some things here and there, but then you ruined everything for the audience
And
in
also
that
I
one
think,
small scene.
and the thing is, the climax also kind of leaves you in a good space,
Yeah.
where if you think about it, Jeevan's character, the bomb threat is stopped and Jeevan's character is finished off, and you have that moment where Gandhi is projected to be this, oh, he's the greatest of all time. Fine, you have celebrated the actor, and you have celebrated everything, and then you have given a kind of you have wrapped things up in a kind of a satisfactory way. Then why did you do something completely else? I mean, if you wanted a post credit scene, I don't know, a post
This
credit
movie
scene.
doesn't require one. Just
I mean, if you wanted a post credit scene, either have the fact that Jeevan survives. If you
simply
wanted,
that, or a much more emotional way would be actually conducting like a funeral for Jeevan to
yeah,
strengthen the character.
something like that. Have the fact that the family is finally letting go of their
Yeah,
trauma, and
yeah.
they are rebuilding. Stay
But
with
they,
the
they
characters.
don't care about the underlying emotions or the characters of the film.
Nothing,
They only
nothing.
care
Because
about
if
oh
you
how cool something is.
if you think about it, the mother's character, Jeevan's mom's character, Gandhi's wife, so she, first of all, yeah, after that whole episode in Thailand, they get divorced and all, and then finally Jeevan comes back. That moment, she gives a very good performance. The kind of the crying which she gives, that was, I felt that, yeah, she's actually portraying the right kind of emotions and how she's reuniting with her son. So that was very convincing, very convincing. But after that, she's completely missing. She's absent from the movie.
Yeah.
She does not have anything. And in the end, when she gets kidnapped by Menon, and then she's in the abandoned factory, and he reveals the truth that I kidnapped your son and I raised him, and she asks him that, what do you mean by that? I mean, just that. She's left in the dark because she literally doesn't know anything. At least
Yeah.
Gandhi knows what's happening in that scene. And then again you see that Gandhi starts gloating. Dude, you are again neglecting your wife.
I that was my initial analysis, right? He hates his family. He does not love his
I
family.
don't know. I mean, it is so badly written. He's so badly written that the main problem with this movie is the characterization of Gandhi. They butchered Gandhi's characterization, which is why this movie does not work at all. Even in terms of the positive aspect, imagine if someone else was playing the villain's role. This movie would have been completely. Imagine if Vijay Sethupathi or someone else was playing the villain's role. So that actor would have taken all the accolades. The good
Yeah.
thing was Vijay was playing the role. That is why people are celebrating the fact, and they are not actually, they are not protesting the fact that Gandhi is shown to be so incompetent. Otherwise, he is completely an incompetent protagonist. Completely, in every stage of the film, he is committing a major blunder. Major blunder. In the first mission, he commits a blunder. Hello.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in the first scene, he commits a blunder, which is why Menon's family gets
Yeah.
killed,
It is
and
his
then
fault, yeah.
yeah, it's his fault. And then secondly, the next blunder he commits is he takes his family to Thailand, which is where he puts them in danger. Then he leaves Jeevan all alone in a strange with no oversight, which is where he loses. And then when Jeevan is found to be supposedly dead, he doesn't do anything, and he completely just goes back and then lives his life. And then in
Yeah,
every
it's
moment you
this is a
see
good way to wrap up the conversation. Just finishing with how incompetent and how badly the character was written. The character of
yeah,
Gandhi was written, and it could
yeah.
have salvaged the whole movie had Gandhi been a good character and a well-written character. Him being incompetent and turning competent could have been the arc, sure, but then he's throughout. There is no character growth emotionally or
There is no growth.
skill-wise.
And that is the thing, right? See, the when you treat a script from the point of characters, you have to set up a certain amount, you have to set up certain rules where, okay, this character is not going to behave this way. And then there is a certain logic behind a character, that okay, if you are saying that this is a agent, say stay true to that. Okay, if he's an agent, what would an agent do in this situation? The writer never wrote any scene from this kind of a thought. They wrote a scene with events already pre-planned, and they
Yes.
fit this character into these into these events, which is
They
why
wrote
the
the
film.
scenes around that event. That's the problem. Like
Exactly,
you write
that
an
is the
event and
problem.
then
And
you write the
if
scene.
the writer had kept these things in mind, the entire trajectory and the series of events which happen in the movie would have been completely different as well. Like,
Yes.
and it would have still been an engaging watch. And I'll tell you, the second half could have remained the same, could have completely remained the same. But if you had just changed the first half in slightly different way, that's what I'm saying. If they had done Taken in the first half, and in the interval point they reveal that the person targeting his family is Jivan,
Hmm.
that could have been a very good. And at that point, even Gandhi did, like the Gandhi doesn't even need to know that it's Jeevan. For the audience, they could have revealed that yes, it's Jeevan who's targeting the family. That could have kept the same impact of having the son be the villain, and simultaneously kept the second half as it is, and kept preserved Gandhi's character as well. That is the only
Yeah.
change which I feel they should have done, but missed opportunity. That's what I'm saying, missed opportunity. And if anyone decides to remake this movie, I believe they should do that, but I don't think they're going to do that. And I don't even think this movie is going to get remade, because no, there's no need for this movie to be remade. There is no,
Sure.
yeah.
Let's wrap up with these final thoughts.